The wedding ring made a small, hard sound against the washing machine, the kind of sound you hear when a coin slips out of a pocket. I reached beneath one of Adam's damp work shirts and pulled out a plain gold band. For a second, I thought it might be mine. That made no sense. I hadn't worn a wedding ring in 9 years, and mine was in a blue ceramic dish at the back of my dresser, along with 3 foreign coins and a cufflink that had lost its mate sometime during the Reagan administration. Then I saw the shallow dent near the edge. Adam's ring. He came into the laundry room carrying an empty coffee mug. When he saw what was in my hand, he stopped so abruptly that coffee sloshed over the rim and onto his thumb. "Where'd you get that?" "Your pants." He glanced toward the kitchen. Through the open back door, his wife was singing badly to an old Fleetwood Mac song while she pulled dead leaves from the herb boxes. Adam stepped inside and closed the laundry room door. "Dad," he said quietly, "please don't tell Rachel." That was the moment I should have walked outside and put the ring directly into her hand. Instead, I asked, "Why not?" At 64, I'd become the sort of man who did other people's laundry without being asked and then apologized if I used the wrong dryer setting. I didn't set out to become that man. Nobody does. It happens one small favor at a time. 4 months earlier, I had moved into the finished room above Adam and Rachel's garage while my condo was being renovated. The contractor had promised 6 weeks. Contractors measure time differently from the rest of us. In contractor time, Tuesday means any day before the collapse of civilization, and almost done means they have located your phone number. The room over the garage was comfortable enough. It had a little bathroom, a microwave, and a window overlooking the neighbor's wooden fence. If I stood at an angle, I could see 3 inches of their bird bath. Rachel had put clean towels in the bathroom and a new toothbrush in a cup by the sink. Adam carried up one box, announced that his back was acting weird, and then stood at the bottom of the stairs giving instructions while Rachel and I carried the rest. That was Adam. He could turn avoiding work into a management position. I loved him. That needs to be said before anything else. He was 37 years old, broad-shouldered, quick with a joke, and still capable of making me see the boy who used to fall asleep in the car, with his forehead against the window. He called every Sunday, even if I was living 20 feet away. He remembered my birthday without social media, reminding him. When I had a kidney stone 2 years earlier, he sat beside my hospital bed all night and complained so much about the waiting room coffee that the nurse eventually brought him one from the staff lounge just to shut him up. Adam was generous when generosity was immediate. If you needed a ride, he was already grabbing his keys. If you needed him to have an unpleasant conversation next Thursday, his calendar became remarkably complex. Rachel came in through the back door, still singing. Adam and I went silent. "You two plotting something?" she called. Adam opened the laundry room door halfway. "Dad's teaching me how to separate colors. After 10 years of marriage, a miracle. I'm a late bloomer." Rachel crossed the kitchen in gardening gloves, her brown hair pulled into a loose knot on top of her head. There was dirt across one cheek. She leaned into the laundry room, looked from Adam to me, and narrowed her eyes. "Why do you both have the faces of men who've put a fork in an electrical outlet?" "Static cling," Adam said. She laughed and went to the sink. Adam closed the door again, more gently this time. The ring was warm from my hand. I held it out to him, but he didn't take it. "What's going on?" "Nothing's going on." "Then put your ring on." "I can't." "Did you injure your finger?" He looked at his hand as if this possibility had just occurred to him. "It's been tight." I examined the ring. "You had it polished." "What?" "The inside is polished. No soap buildup, no mark from your finger." "Are you a jeweler now?" "I managed a hardware store for 32 years. Men brought me their rings all the time when they needed one cut off. You wore that thing through the deck project. I watched you bleed on a pressure-treated 2x4 rather than take it off. That was different. How? The deck didn't have feelings." He rubbed both hands over his face, then rested them on his hips. Behind him, the washing machine clicked as the metal cooled. The room smelled like detergent, and the rosemary Rachel had tucked into a jar on the windowsill. "Can we not do this in here?" "You closed the door. Because she's 10 feet away." "Yes, Adam. That's the part I'm noticing." Rachel turned on the faucet. Pipes knocked somewhere inside the wall, one of the many things I'd been meaning to fix. Adam finally took the ring from me. He didn't put it on. He slipped it into the small watch pocket of his jeans. "There's a woman from work." I waited. He sighed. Don't look at me like that. I'm looking at you. You have a judgmental resting face. My face was built before people had names for all its conditions. That almost got a smile out of him. Almost. He leaned against the dryer and lowered his voice. Her name is Paige. Paige Lawson. She's on the business development team. Adam worked for a medical equipment company, though if you asked him what he did there, the explanation contained so many words like alignment, growth strategy, and channel optimization that you came away believing he might be in charge of clouds. And, I said, and we talk. At the office? Sometimes. Where else? He looked toward the door. Adam, there's a place near the airport. The Marlowe. It has a bar. I knew the place. Everybody in our part of Ohio knew it. The hotel advertised itself as upscale because its lobby had a waterfall that smelled faintly of chlorine. How often? We've had drinks a few times. Wearing your wedding ring? He stared at the floor. Does she know you're married? She knows. Then why take it off? It's complicated. People say that when the simple version makes them look bad. He pushed himself away from the dryer. Nothing happened. Nothing meaning what? Meaning nothing physical. The faucet stopped. Rachel opened a cabinet, and plates shifted against each other. I had learned during my divorce that adults could hide entire disasters inside the word physical. A kiss was physical until somebody wanted it reclassified. So was sleeping in the same bed, unless everyone kept their socks on and felt guilty afterward. What does Paige think is happening? I asked. She thinks Rachel and I are having problems. Are you? All married people have problems. Does Rachel know about yours? That's not fair. It was an interesting answer, because it wasn't an answer. From the kitchen, Rachel called, Daniel, are you still good with salmon tonight? Sure, I said. Adam, he took too long. Salmon's great, I called for him. Thank you, household representative. A cabinet closed. Her footsteps moved toward the stairs. Adam listened until we heard the bedroom door shut overhead. Then he looked at me with the tired impatience people use when they believe your conscience is creating unnecessary paperwork. I'm going to handle it. When? Soon. What does soon mean? I don't know. I need to think. You've been thinking at a hotel bar. I knew you'd do this. Do what? Make it black and white. You've always done that after Mom left. Everything's either loyalty or betrayal now. He knew exactly where to press. Susan and I had been divorced for 9 years, but Adam still spoke of her leaving as though she'd walked out during breakfast and never come back. In reality, she had spent 2 years telling me she was miserable. I spent those same 2 years assuring her we could talk when things settled down. Things never settle down on their own. They harden. This isn't about your mother, I said. It affects how you see things. Maybe. It doesn't explain why your wedding ring was in the wash. He folded his arms. Our anniversary dinner is next Saturday. Rachel's mother is driving in. Claire's coming. It's 1 week. I need 1 week without everybody exploding. You want me to help you stage an anniversary dinner while another woman thinks your marriage is ending? Paige doesn't think it's ending. He paused. I said, Adam, she thinks we may be separating. I stared at him. I said, may. Does Rachel know she may be separating? His jaw tightened. This is why I didn't tell you. You didn't tell me. Your ring did. He opened the door, then stopped with his hand on the knob. Please, he said. The change in his voice was what got me. Not the argument, not the anniversary, not the mention of my divorce. That one quiet word. I had heard it from him at 8 years old when he broke Susan's lamp with a tennis ball. At 16 when he backed my truck into our mailbox. At 23 when rent money vanished during a weekend in Chicago and he swore he had a plan. Please, Dad. It had always meant the same thing. Stand between me and what comes next. I'm not asking you to lie, he said. Just don't say anything until I figure out how to fix this. You're asking me to sit at her table and know. For a few days. 2. He blinked. What? You have 2 days. You tell her by Monday night. His shoulders dropped, and for one foolish second, I mistook relief for shame. Thank you. I'm not doing you a favor. I know. No, you don't. He stepped forward and hugged me. Adam was not a man who hugged halfway. He wrapped both arms around me and slapped my back, the way he did after ball games and funerals. Then he opened the door and walked into the kitchen, as if we'd settled a problem with the fabric softener. I stayed in the laundry room. The washer was empty except for a twisted sleeve clinging to the side. I peeled it loose and transferred the clothes to the dryer, one piece at a time. When I came out, Rachel was at the table with her gardening gloves off and 2 picture frames laid in front of her. Adam stood behind her, eating strawberries from a carton. "There he is," she said. "Daniel, settle something." I sat across from her. She lifted the first frame. It was dark wood, simple and square. Then she lifted the second, silver, with little leaves embossed around the edge. "Which one for the anniversary picture?" "What anniversary picture?" "The one from our wedding." "Adam says silver. I think the wood." Adam ate another strawberry without looking at me. Rachel turned the frames around so I could see how the photograph would sit. In the picture, she and Adam were coming down the church steps through a cloud of birdseed, laughing at something outside the camera. His left hand was raised to protect his face. The ring shone on his finger. "The wood," I said. Rachel smiled. "Exactly. Silver's too cold." Adam reached over her shoulder and tapped the wooden frame. "Wood it is." Then he bent and kissed the top of her head. I watched her lean back into him without thinking, trusting the body behind her to stay where it was. 47 hours remained. Adam's ring was back on his finger by dinner. I noticed when he reached across the table for the lemon. He saw me notice and turned his hand palm down, like that changed anything. Rachel had made enough food for 6 people, which was normal for her. She approached cooking the way some people approached emergency preparedness. There was always another pan under foil, another salad in the refrigerator, another loaf of bread she claimed would go stale if we didn't finish it immediately. "Salmon?" Adam said, studying the platter. "I thought this was a fish." Rachel pointed her fork at him. "You agreed to salmon. That was Daniel, my household representative. You said it was great. I was under duress." "What duress?" He looked at me. "Laundry-related." I kept my eyes on my plate. Rachel laughed. "You're lucky your father's here. Otherwise you'd have to start turning your underwear right side out like a grown man. Let's not get carried away." This was what made the ring feel unreal. They were good together in small ways. Adam knew she hated the thick center pieces of salmon, so he gave her the crisp edge from his portion without mentioning it. She removed the lemon seed that landed in his rice. They had 10 years of gestures, so practice neither of them seemed to notice. I wondered how many good marriages looked exactly like that on the evening before. One person learned they had been living in a different story. Rachel caught me watching them. "You okay?" "Fine. You're quiet." "I've been informed I have a judgmental resting face." She looked at Adam. "What did you do?" "Why do you assume I did something?" "Because your father isn't judgmental with me." Adam pressed one hand to his chest. The favoritism in this family? Rachel reached for the wine bottle and topped off my glass. Adam had barely touched his. Normally, he drank faster than both of us, and then announced he was switching to water, as if accepting an award for discipline. "You hear from the contractor?" she asked me. "He says the bathroom tile will be finished Wednesday." "Which Wednesday?" Excellent question. Adam jumped in too quickly. "You know you don't have to rush out of here. I'm not rushing. I bought the condo to live in it. I'm just saying, if the work's not right, make them redo it. Stay another month." Rachel nodded. "Seriously. We like having you." She meant it. Adam was looking at his plate. A month earlier, I would have heard affection in his offer. Sitting there, I heard convenience. I was the person who let in contractors, collected packages, kept milk in the refrigerator, and prevented the house from feeling empty on nights Adam worked late. Maybe I was being unfair. Suspicion can travel backward, staining things that happened before you knew to question them. Then Adam said, "You'd be miserable over there by yourself anyway." He said it lightly, but the words landed between my ribs. Rachel's head came up. "That's a terrible thing to say. I didn't mean miserable. What other kind is there? Dad knows what I mean." I cut into my salmon. "Your sales pitch needs work." Adam smiled, relieved to have been let off. Rachel wasn't as quick. "You're going to make friends in the building," she told me. "There's that guy across the hall, Norman." "Norman! He seems nice." Norman told me the condo association is a socialist experiment and then tried to borrow my drill. "Well, now you have a shared interest." "In socialism?" "In your drill." Adam laughed. Rachel did too, but her eyes stayed on me a moment longer. She had a habit of checking a person's face after everybody laughed, as if humor might have concealed an injury. After dinner, she washed and I dried. Adam received a message halfway through clearing the table. He read it, locked his phone, then turned it face down. "I might have to go in tomorrow," he said. Rachel's hands paused in the dishwater. On Sunday? Quarter-end deck. You said you finished it. I said I finished my part. You also said Sunday was anniversary clean-out day. I looked at Adam. That sounds romantic. We're clearing the dining room, Rachel said. My mother can't eat next to 6 boxes of Daniel's hardware store memorabilia. They're not memorabilia, they're things. One box says, cords, possibly useful. Accurate labeling saves lives. Adam smiled, but his attention had returned to the dark phone beside the fruit bowl. Rachel rinsed a plate. How long will you be? Couple hours, probably. Which means, I don't know, Rach, I haven't gone yet. The temperature in the room dropped by 5 degrees. Not enough to call weather, enough to make you wish you'd worn sleeves. She handed me the plate. Fine. I can do the boxes with you, I said. I know you can. That isn't the point. Adam picked up his phone. I haven't even said yes. You've said yes with every part of your body except your mouth. Can we not make this into something? Rachel gave him a look, then pulled the plug from the sink. Water spiraled away around bits of parsley and rice. Nobody said anything for a while. That night, somebody crossed the gravel below my room a little after 11. I heard the side gate click and looked through the window. Adam stood beside the garage in sweatpants and a t-shirt, speaking into his phone. I couldn't hear the words. I could hear the shape of them. He was soft with whoever was on the other end, patient. Once he laughed under his breath. It was the laugh he used when he wanted a person to know she had his full attention. I stepped away from the window. There are respectable names for watching when you feel entitled to the truth, concern, confirmation, protectiveness. But I was still an old man standing in the dark above his son's garage, trying to read a marriage through posture. I went to bed. The next morning, Adam was already gone when I came downstairs. Rachel stood at the kitchen counter in an old college sweatshirt, eating peanut butter from a spoon. She looked at my face and held up the jar. Don't judge me. I wouldn't dare. It's protein. So is a pork chop. I don't want a pork chop at 8 in the morning. You're limiting yourself. She pushed the jar toward me. I got a clean spoon from the drawer. The wooden frame from the day before rested near the coffee maker. Rachel had put the wedding photograph inside it, but the back still lay open. What are you doing with the silver one? I asked. Returning it. I can use it. For what? A picture. Of what? I have pictures. She leaned one elbow on the counter. Name one you'd put in a silver frame. I considered that. There's a good one of me holding a base. No. It was 9 pounds. No dead fish in the anniversary decor. The fish wasn't dead yet. That is not better. She smiled, then looked toward the garage door. Did he tell you what time he'd be home? No. He tells you everything lately. The spoon stopped halfway to my mouth. What makes you say that? You two are always disappearing into corners. We live in the same house. So do we. There was no accusation in it. That made it worse. She scraped a narrow line through the peanut butter. He's stressed about the promotion. I know that. If he gets it, there'll be travel. Maybe relocation eventually. Relocation? Not immediately. He says the company's still figuring out what the role is. Adam had mentioned a promotion. He had not mentioned moving. Where? Nashville, maybe. Or Cincinnati. Depends which team they put under him. And you'd go? She looked surprised. Of course. Your clinic's here. There are clinics everywhere. She said it too quickly in the bright voice people use when they're repeating a sentence they've practiced alone. I'm not opposed to moving, she added. Change can be good. Sure, I've been at Millbrook 11 years. That's a long time. Exactly. Maybe I'm due. She dug her spoon back into the jar, though there was still peanut butter on it. I wanted to ask whether Adam had told Paige about Nashville. I wanted to know whether the promotion was a reason for the affair, an excuse for it, or simply another door he wanted to keep open. Instead, I said, you'd miss that kitchen you just redid. Rachel looked around at the pale cabinets and blue tiles she had spent 2 months selecting. Adam hated the blue. He said he liked it. He said it looked like an expensive swimming pool. He said that to me, too. She laughed. Traitor. The tightness left her face for a moment. We ate peanut butter and discussed the boxes in the dining room. Then she stood, brushed crumbs from her sweatshirt, and said, Come on. Let's see whether your cords are ready to re-enter society. The first box contained 6 extension cords, 4 telephone cables, 3 power adapters for devices I no longer owned, and a braided cord that neither of us could identify. Rachel held it up. This one looks nautical. It might be. Have you ever owned a boat? No. Then why do you have nautical rope? Preparation. For becoming a fisherman? You mocked the base photograph. Now you see why I keep my options open. She laughed harder than the joke deserved. I did too. For an hour, the dining room floor disappeared beneath piles labeled Keep, Donate, and Why Daniel. The work was ordinary and good. That was the trouble. Every few minutes, I forgot about the ring. Then Rachel found an old photograph tucked inside a hardware convention folder. Susan and I stood in front of a fake log cabin display, both wearing name tags. I had more hair. Susan had one hand hooked through my arm and was laughing at something outside the frame. You look happy, Rachel said. We were. She studied the photograph. Do you miss her? That's a dangerous Sunday morning question. I'm serious. Sometimes. Her or being married. I took the photograph from her and wiped dust from one corner. Those aren't as easy to separate as people think. Rachel sat back on her heels. Do you ever wish you'd fought harder? The honest answer was yes, but the honest answer had conditions. I wished I had fought earlier, when fighting meant listening. By the time I raised my voice, hired a counselor, and started bringing home flowers on Wednesdays, I wasn't fighting for Susan. I was fighting the fact that she could leave me. I wish I'd paid attention sooner, I said. Rachel looked toward the kitchen. I could almost see another question forming, but tires crunched in the driveway before she asked it. Adam came through the garage door carrying 2 paper cups and a white bakery bag. Peace offerings, he announced. Rachel stayed on the floor. For what? For abandoning anniversary clean-out day. He handed her a coffee prepared exactly the way she liked it, and produced an almond croissant from the bag. You're bribing me with laminated dough. Is it working? She tried not to smile. It worked anyway. Adam bent to kiss her, then looked at the photograph in my hand. Wow, he said. Dad with hair. I still have hair. You have survivors. Rachel took a bite of croissant. Flakes fell onto her sweatshirt. How was work? Boring. Get it done? Mostly. His phone buzzed. He didn't take it out. Rachel lifted her coffee. You missed the nautical rope. I can live with that. Adam walked into the kitchen. I followed him a moment later, carrying an armful of old catalogs for recycling. As I passed, he caught my elbow. Thanks, he whispered. For what? For not making things worse. He released me before Rachel came in. I looked at the ring on his finger, then at the faint smear of pink lipstick near the collar of his white shirt. Rachel's lipstick was in the bathroom upstairs. It was brown. I set the catalogs on the counter and looked again. The mark was small, no bigger than the edge of a thumbprint. A soft, rosy pink against white cotton. It could have been frosting. It could have been marker ink. It could have been the blood of an unusually fashionable insect. Adam saw where I was looking. He pulled the collar away from his neck, crossed to the stainless steel refrigerator, and inspected his reflection in the door. What is it? You tell me. He rubbed the mark with his thumb. It spread. Damn it. Boring morning at the office? Keep your voice down. Rachel walked in, carrying the bakery bag. Adam turned and opened the refrigerator, as if he'd been searching for something. Do we have club soda? He asked. Since when do you drink club soda? I spilled coffee. On what? My shirt. She put the bag beside me and examined the front of him. Adam rotated away, using the refrigerator door as cover. I don't see anything. It dried. Then, what do you need club soda for? He stared into the refrigerator. Future coffee. Rachel looked at me. I lifted the catalogs. Recycling. My contribution to the moment was outstanding. Rachel went back to the dining room. Adam waited until her footsteps faded, then took a dish towel from the oven handle and wet one corner under the faucet. Paige came to the office, he said. You were at the office? Yes. Were you there when her lipstick got on your shirt? He scrubbed at the collar. She hugged me. Does she apply makeup with her forehead? She kissed my cheek. That's not where your cheek is. I moved toward her, away. The mark became a pale pink cloud. Adam dropped the towel into the sink. She's upset. About what? I told her we had to stop. I searched his face for something solid. Adam had always been a convincing liar because he didn't invent entire realities. He selected pieces of the truth and arranged them until the parts he disliked were facing the wall. You ended it? I told her we couldn't keep talking like we have been. And she came to your office on a Sunday? She knew I'd be there. Did anyone else? He rubbed the back of his neck. Why are you interrogating me? Because you walked in here with another woman's lipstick on your collar and handed your wife a croissant. The croissant was for Rachel. That clears it up. I'm trying to do the right thing, then do it in the right order. His face tightened. I can't tell Rachel 5 minutes after telling Paige. That makes it sound like there was something to confess. There is something to confess. An emotional situation. You took off your ring? I know what I did. Good. Saves time. He grabbed the bakery bag and crumpled the top in one fist. I said, Monday. You gave me until Monday. I did. Then stop moving the deadline because you saw a smudge on my shirt. I didn't move anything. You're acting like I slept with her. Did you? No. The answer came quickly. Too quickly, maybe. But suspicion had made every speed look guilty. Hesitation was guilt. Certainty was guilt. Looking away was guilt. Holding eye contact was the work of a practiced liar. I wanted evidence because evidence would relieve me of judgment. A father could point at evidence. A father had to look at his son and decide. Rachel called from the dining room. Are you two planning a recycling ceremony? Adam stepped closer. Tomorrow night. I nodded once. He removed the shirt in the kitchen, balled it up, and carried it toward the laundry room. Don't put that in the hamper, I said. He stopped. It was a ridiculous sentence, but we both understood it. He tucked the shirt under his arm and went upstairs. I carried the catalogs outside. The recycling bin was nearly full, so I stood beside the garage, breaking the spines to make them lie flat. Each one cracked like a small branch. My phone rang. Susan's name appeared on the screen. For 9 years, my former wife and I had maintained the kind of peace that depended on short conversations and neutral subjects. Roof repairs were safe. Claire's new job was safe. Adam's anniversary dinner should have been safe. I was told, I'm bringing dessert Saturday, she said when I answered. Good morning to you too. It's 11:30, not if you sleep properly. Rachel wants that chocolate torte from Bellini's. Do you know if she likes the raspberry one or the plain? You called me about cake? I called Adam. He didn't answer. He was working. On a Sunday? That's what he said. Susan went quiet. She had always been able to make silence sound like a follow-up question. The plain, I said. Rachel doesn't like fruit with chocolate. She eats chocolate-covered strawberries. That's fruit pretending to be candy. Daniel, plain torte. Fine. Are you still living over their garage? Temporarily. You said that in May. It remains true. And the condo? Almost done. So, Christmas, possibly Easter. A car door shut somewhere on her end. Susan lived 40 minutes away in a brick ranch she had bought after the divorce. I had been inside it twice. Once when a pipe burst, once when Claire organized a birthday dinner and refused to accept that her parents could eat at separate locations. Is everything all right over there? She asked. Why wouldn't it be? You sound strange. I'm flattening catalogs. That would explain it. Explain what? Nothing. I heard her put something into the trunk of her car. Adam and Rachel are okay? She asked. I looked up at the room over the garage. One of my shirts hung inside the window. Ask them. I asked you. That's usually where these problems start. What problems? Nothing. They're fine. The lie came out so naturally I almost respected it. Susan was silent again. Plain torte, she said at last. Plain torte. After we hung up, I stood with my phone in my hand and understood that Adam had already made the secret travel. It had reached his mother without her knowing what it was. She had asked me a simple question, and I had adjusted reality for him. Again. Rachel pushed open the side door. We're ordering Thai. Do you want your usual? Sure. Adam says he has a headache. He should. What? Probably stress. She frowned. Did you two argue? We disagree about laundry procedures. Daniel, I lowered the lid of the recycling bin. He's under pressure at work. That's what he keeps saying. There it was again, the chance to tell her. No anniversary guests, no dramatic setting. Just Rachel in gardening clogs, standing beside the recycling bin with a smear of almond filling on her sleeve. My mouth opened. Adam appeared in the doorway behind her, wearing a blue sweatshirt. Can I get pad CEW? He asked. Rachel turned. You always get green curry. I'm changing. He looked directly at me. Rachel took out her phone. Fine. New Adam gets noodles. Daniel, green curry. Thank you for your consistency. She went inside. Adam remained in the doorway. I said I'd tell her. You also said you were going to the office. I went to the office. You neglected the part where Paige would be there. I didn't know she was coming. You just said she knew you'd be there. That doesn't mean I invited her. Monday night, I said, not midnight. Not after Rachel goes to sleep. Dad, by dinner. His nostrils flared. For a second I saw anger plain on his face. Then it disappeared beneath exhaustion. Okay. He went inside. I spent that evening in my room with the television on low. Around 10, Rachel texted to ask if I wanted tea. I told her no. A few minutes later, I heard her and Adam laughing in the kitchen. The sound bothered me more than an argument would have. At 8 the next morning, my contractor called to report a minor tile concern. The concern was that the tiles had been installed in two noticeably different shades of gray. I thought they'd blend when the grout dried, the installer told me. The grout is white. Exactly. He said exactly as if I had supported his position. I drove to the condo and stood in the bathroom doorway looking at alternating bands of storm gray and wet cement gray. The installer called it variation. I called it a wall that looked like a barcode. The rest of the condo was quiet and nearly empty. Morning light came through the bare living room windows. My furniture sat under plastic sheets. Its familiar shapes turned ghostly. I tried to imagine a normal day there. Coffee in the small kitchen, news on the television, a walk to the grocery store. Dinner for one at the counter because the dining table was still too large for the room. Adam's sentence returned to me. You'd be miserable over there by yourself anyway. It angered me because it was cruel. It angered me more because I wasn't sure it was wrong. I told the installer to replace the darker tiles and drove back to the house after 4. Rachel's car was already in the driveway. She was home earlier than usual. When I entered through the kitchen, she sat at the table with her laptop open and a credit card statement beside it. Adam stood near the sink, still wearing his office clothes. They both looked at me. Perfect timing, Adam said. His tone was casual, but his right hand gripped the edge of the counter. The wedding ring clicked once against the stone. Rachel looked from him to me. Daniel, were you and Adam together Thursday night? A restaurant name was highlighted on the statement. Copper Rye. It sat 3 blocks from the Marlowe Hotel. Adam answered before I could. We grabbed a drink after looking at tile. Rachel kept her eyes on me. You went tile shopping at 9:30 at night? It wasn't 9:30, Adam said. The charge posted at 9:30. That doesn't mean, she raised one hand and he stopped. I'm asking Daniel. Adam looked at me then, not with panic, with expectation. He had already built the bridge. All I had to do was step onto it. I set my keys on the table. No, I said. I wasn't with him. Rachel's face changed very slightly. Adam's changed completely. I looked at my son. Tell her. Adam's mouth remained open for a second, but no sound came out. Rachel closed the laptop. Who were you with? It was a work thing. You just said you were with your father. I said we grabbed a drink after looking at tile. And he says you didn't. I got the night wrong. You got Thursday wrong? I got the restaurant wrong. She looked down at the statement. Copper Rye is a restaurant, Adam. It isn't a night of the week. I know what it is. Good. Then who were you with? He glanced at me. The expectation was gone. What replaced it looked almost like accusation, as if I had broken a promise by refusing one he had never asked me to make aloud. A coworker, he said. Which coworker? Paige. The name meant something to Rachel. Not enough, but something. Paige Lawson? Yes, just Paige Lawson. There were other people. How many? I don't remember. You don't remember who sat at the table with you 4 days ago? It was drinks after work. You told me you were taking a vendor to dinner. She was part of the vendor discussion. Paige works for your company. She was helping with it. Rachel pushed the statement away. Stop! Adam stopped. She pressed her fingers against her forehead. The kitchen clock clicked above the pantry door. I had repaired that clock twice, though neither repair had made it quieter. Is something going on with Paige? She asked. No, it was immediate and firm. Rachel looked at me. I looked at Adam. Tell her what is going on. I just did. No, you described a receipt. His face flushed. This is between me and my wife. It became 3 people when you tried to use me as an alibi. Rachel's eyes moved between us. How long have you known about this? I could have said I didn't know anything. Technically, I knew only what Adam had told me, and most of that had come wrapped in qualifications. Saturday, I said. Her expression went still. You knew Saturday? I found out there was a problem. What problem? Dad is blowing this out of proportion. I'm asking him. Adam laughed once, without humor. Of course you are. Rachel turned on him. Why did your father know something about my marriage that I didn't? I was trying to talk to him. You don't talk to him. You hand him things to fix. The sentence surprised all three of us. Adam folded his arms. Apparently that was a mistake. What did you tell him? That Paige and I have gotten close. How close? Emotionally. Rachel stared at him. It would have been easier if she had shouted. Anger would have given Adam something to resist. Instead, she sat with both hands flat on the table, as if it had shifted beneath her. What does that mean? She asked. We talk. You talk to everybody. Not like this. What is like this? I don't know how to answer that. You could start with the truth. I am telling you the truth. No, you're giving me nouns. Adam paced to the sink and back. His tie was loose, and there was a dark crescent of sweat beneath one arm. I remembered him at 17, coming home after curfew with elaborate explanations about a flat tire. The more frightened he became, the more offended he sounded. We've had drinks a few times, he said. We've talked about personal things. She got the impression Rachel and I were having issues. Rachel blinked. She got the impression? I may have vented. About me, about us. To a woman you're having an emotional affair with. I didn't call it an affair. I did. He looked at me. See what you did? I felt something cold settle in my chest. Rachel stood. He didn't make you go to a hotel bar. Adam's head turned sharply toward me. The room changed. A hotel? Rachel asked. It's not like that, Adam said. Which hotel? There's a bar in the Marlowe. It's just a bar. The Marlowe by the airport? Yes. You drove 25 minutes past your office to have a work drink at an airport hotel? They have a good bar. They have a Chili's across the street. I didn't pick the place. Who did? He rubbed his jaw. Paige. Rachel looked at his left hand. I watched her notice the ring. Did you wear that? She asked. Adam curled his fingers. Wear what? Your wedding ring? Of course. It was the first outright lie he told badly. Rachel turned to me. She didn't ask. She just waited. My throat felt dry. I found it in the washing machine Saturday morning. Her eyes closed. His work pants, I added, because cowardice sometimes disguises itself as precision. When she opened her eyes again, she looked at Adam. You took it off. It was tight. You had it resized last year. My hands swell. Only at hotel bars? He put both palms on the counter. I took it off once. I was angry. I didn't want to look at it. At me, at the situation. What situation? You keep talking like our marriage is weather. He exhaled hard. I've been unhappy. The words were simple. They hurt her more than everything else had. I saw it happen. She stepped backward until the chair touched behind her knees, then sat without looking. For how long? I don't know. Were you unhappy when we redid the kitchen? What does that have to do with anything? Were you? There were good days. She gave a small nod. Good days. I'm not saying I don't love you. You told another woman we might be separating. Adam glared at me. Did you tell her that? You just did, Rachel said. He looked trapped by the fact that his own voice had betrayed him. Rachel leaned over and unplugged the laptop, winding the cord around the adapter with slow, neat movements. She slid the credit card statement inside, closed the computer, and stood. Where are you going? Adam asked. Upstairs. We need to finish this. I can't hear another sentence you've prepared while standing in this kitchen. I haven't prepared anything. That's obvious. She took the laptop and walked toward the stairs. Rachel, I said. She stopped without turning. I'm sorry. Her shoulders rose with one breath. How many times did we talk this weekend? She asked. I couldn't answer in a way that helped. She looked back at me. Her face wasn't angry. I would have preferred anger. You sat across from me, she said. I gave him until tonight to tell you. That was generous of you. Then she went upstairs. The bedroom door closed. A moment later, the lock turned. Adam stood motionless until we heard it. Then he swept the coffee cup from the counter. It hit the sink and broke in two. What the hell is wrong with you? He said. I looked at the pieces. Don't do that calm thing. What calm thing? That voice, that face. Like you're the only adult in the room. I'm not the one who threw a cup. I trusted you. You tried to make me lie. I asked you for time. You used the time to buy her pastry and invent a vendor dinner. I was going to tell her. When? Tonight. You were standing here at dinner time. She came home early. Was your confession scheduled for 6:15? He grabbed the broken cup from the sink, cut his thumb, and cursed. Blood appeared along the side of his hand. I reached for a towel. Don't! He snapped. He wrapped his thumb in a paper towel instead. This wasn't your decision, he said. You don't get to decide when somebody else's marriage blows up. You told me Monday. You forced a deadline on me. And then you lied, using my name. Because I panicked. You expected me to protect you? You're my father. That doesn't mean what you think it means? He laughed bitterly. You love saying that now. Where was all this integrity when Mom wanted out? You lied to everybody then. You told Claire things were fine. You told me Mom was just tired. You even told Mom she was confused about her own feelings. Each sentence found its place. I was wrong, I said. Right. And now you're going to balance the universe with my marriage? No, sure looks like it. I'm trying not to repeat it. You already did. You waited 2 days. You lied to Mom this morning. Don't stand there pretending you're clean. I hadn't told him about Susan's call. My face must have shown it. She called me after, he said. Wanted to know why you sounded weird. What did you tell her? That you're dramatic since retirement. Despite everything, I almost laughed. That was your explanation? It worked. It always works if you make me the problem. You made yourself the problem. He threw the bloody paper towel into the trash and rinsed his thumb. Upstairs, a floorboard creaked. Adam lowered his voice. Do you have any idea what this promotion could mean? For your marriage, for my life. The distinction hung there. He looked toward the stairs, then back at me. The position may be in Nashville. Paige is involved in building the new team. Rachel thinks she's moving with you. I haven't made any decisions. Paige thinks you're separating. I told you, it's complicated. No, it's becoming very clear. He pressed a clean towel to his thumb. His anger seemed to drain, leaving something smaller and less attractive. If I get the position, he said, things change. What things? Everything. The work. Where I live. What I want. Who you want. He didn't answer. A terrible understanding moved through me, not sudden, but piece by piece. Adam hadn't delayed because he was confused about ending an inappropriate friendship. He was waiting to see whether the promotion happened. He wanted Rachel secure in the current life while he tested the next one. Does Paige think you'll move with her? I asked. We haven't made plans. That isn't what I asked. We've discussed possibilities. And if you don't get the job? He looked away. Rachel was not his wife in that moment. She was the option he planned to keep if the other future failed. You encouraged me to stay here, I said. What? You didn't want me moving into the condo. This has nothing to do with you. I keep the house running. I keep Rachel company. I make everything look normal while you decide whether to leave. That's insane. Is it? You wanted to stay. You hated the idea of living alone. There was enough truth in it to make me flinch. Adam saw that and stepped closer. You need us, he said. Don't rewrite this like you've been doing charity work. I never said that. You don't have anywhere else to be. You like being needed. That doesn't give you the right to use me. Use you? You fold towels and fix cabinet hinges. His voice had risen again. The bedroom door opened upstairs. Adam lowered it to a harsh whisper. Just go to your condo. It isn't ready. Then get a hotel. I stared at him. He pulled the wedding ring from his finger. The skin beneath it was pale. He shoved it into my palm and folded my fingers over it. You're so interested in my marriage, he said. You hold on to it? Then he walked toward the stairs. At the bottom, he turned. And get your things out of my house. Rachel stood halfway down the stairs. She had changed out of her work clothes. Gray sweatpants, bare feet, the old college sweatshirt from Sunday. Her face looked washed, though a dark line of mascara remained beneath one eye. What did you just say? She asked. Adam kept one hand on the railing. Nothing. You told your father to leave. He needs to give us space. No, you told him to get his things out of your house. Our house. She descended another step. Then why are you making that decision by yourself? Adam looked at me, and I watched him calculate whether blaming me would help. He went behind my back. I was sitting in the room. He forced this conversation before either of us was ready. You mean before you were ready? Rachel, please. She reached the bottom of the stairs and saw my closed hand. What's in your hand? I opened it. The ring lay in my palm, bright beneath the kitchen light. There was a spot of Adam's blood along one edge from where he had cut his thumb. Rachel stared at it. He gave it to me, I said. Why? Adam answered. I was angry. Why? Because Dad has decided he gets to supervise our marriage. I crossed to the table and set the ring beside the credit card statement. It made a quieter sound than it had in the washing machine. I found this in the laundry Saturday morning, I said. Adam asked me not to tell you. I agreed to give him 2 days, and that was wrong. Everything after that is his to explain. I explained it, Adam said. No, Rachel said. You admitted the parts he already knew. She walked to the table, but did not touch the ring. The smear of blood gave it the appearance of evidence from a crime, though nothing illegal had happened. There are ways to wreck a room that don't interest the police. What else? She asked. Adam shook his head. There isn't anything else. He said Paige is involved in the Nashville team, I said. Adam's eyes hardened. Rachel turned toward him. You told me they hadn't decided where the job would be. They haven't. But you've discussed moving with her. We discussed the team. Your father asked whether Paige thinks you'll move with her. He's twisting what I said. What did you say? I said we discussed possibilities. Rachel's hand settled on the back of a chair. What possibilities? Work possibilities. Adam, his shoulders sagged. She may go to Nashville. If I get the promotion, I may go too. That doesn't mean we're going together. Does she think you are? I can't control what she thinks. You've done a pretty good job controlling what I think. He looked toward the ceiling and whispered something I couldn't hear. Rachel said, Did you kiss her? No. Did she kiss you? His hand went to the collar of the blue sweatshirt. Rachel noticed. She kissed my cheek, he said. Today? Yes. Where? The office. Why was she at the office? To talk. About your team? About everything? Rachel laughed then, one dry sound. Everything. You discuss everything with her, and possibilities with me. It wasn't like that. You keep saying that, but you won't tell me what it was like. She picked up the ring between her thumb and forefinger. Adam watched as though she were holding something dangerous. Did you take this off every time you saw her? No. How many times? I don't know. A few. Why? I told you. I didn't want to look at it. You didn't want her to look at it. She knows I'm married. Does she know you still live with your wife? Yes. Does she know we still share a bed? Adam didn't answer. Rachel nodded slowly. There it is. I never told her we didn't. You let her believe it. I said things were complicated. Our bedroom is 20 feet from where you sleep. There's nothing complicated about its location. He reached for her arm. She moved away before he touched her. Please don't do this with Dad standing here, he said. You invited him into it. I confided in my father. You recruited a witness and then tried to make him an accomplice. That's dramatic. She looked at me. Did you know about Nashville before Sunday? No. Did you know she thought we were separating? Saturday. And you didn't tell me. I should have. You had breakfast with me. Yes. We went through your boxes. I know. You let me ask you whether you wished you'd fought harder for your marriage. Adam looked at me. She asked you that? Rachel turned on him. That's what you're curious about? I'm trying to understand what Dad's been saying. He wasn't saying anything. That's the problem. The accuracy of it left me with nowhere to stand. I thought giving him 2 days was fair, she said. To whom? I stopped. Adam seized the silence. See, he decided there was a deadline. He decided I was guilty. Dad has been waiting 9 years to find somebody else responsible for what happened with Mom. Don't bring your mother into this, I said. Why not? You bring her into everything without saying her name. Rachel closed her fingers around the ring. I need both of you to stop. Adam took a step toward her. Can we go upstairs? No. We can talk privately. I don't want to be private with you right now. This is our marriage. That didn't matter at the Marlowe. His face tightened. Rachel looked at me. I need you to leave too. Adam's expression changed. He hadn't expected her anger to include me. Rachel, I said, not forever. I don't know. I can't look at either of you without wondering which one is about to explain why he chose what was best for me. I nodded. I'm sorry, I said. I know. She said it gently, which made it worse. I went upstairs to the garage room and packed a duffel bag. The room had never looked like mine, though nearly everything in it belonged to me. Boxes lined one wall. My winter coats hung in the narrow closet. 3 frame photographs leaned face first against the baseboard because I hadn't wanted to put holes in Adam's walls. I packed 2 pairs of pants, underwear, shaving things, medications, and the blue ceramic dish from the dresser. The old wedding ring was inside it. I lifted it out, held it for a moment, then returned it beneath the foreign coins. From the house came the muffled rhythm of Adam and Rachel arguing. I couldn't make out words. Once Rachel's voice rose sharply. Then there was silence long enough for me to hear the garage refrigerator cycle on below. I stripped the sheets from the bed. It was an unnecessary courtesy, but unnecessary courtesies were my specialty. When I carried the duffel downstairs, Rachel was no longer in the kitchen. Adam stood at the table. The ring was gone. Where is she? I asked. Bedroom. Is she all right? Don't. I asked a question, and I said, don't. You've helped enough. He looked older than he had that morning. His tie lay on the floor near the sink, and a fresh bandage circled his thumb. I set the folded sheets on a chair. I'll come for the boxes another time. No hurry, he said, though an hour earlier he had told me to get my things out. I picked up my keys. Did Paige know you and Rachel were still together? He gave me a long look. Go to your condo, Dad. You could answer one question honestly. You want honesty? Fine. You didn't tell Rachel because it was right. You told her because you were angry I tried to use you. That was part of it. He seemed surprised. I continued. I was angry. I was also ashamed I almost did it. So, this was about you, some of it. He waited for me to defend myself. When I didn't, his anger lost its next step. I wasn't going to leave her with nothing, he said. I looked around the kitchen Rachel had designed, at the anniversary photograph in the wooden frame. That isn't the same as not leaving. He turned away. I drove to the condo with the duffel on the passenger seat. The building's main hallway smelled like fresh paint and somebody's fried onions. Norman from across the hall opened his door before I had my key in the lock. You moving in? He asked. For tonight. They fixed your buzzer wrong. Good evening, Norman. Press mine, yours rings. Press yours, nobody knows what happens. I'll add it to the list. He looked at the duffel. Trouble? Tile. He nodded with the solemn understanding of a man who considered tile capable of destroying a family. Inside, the condo was colder than I expected. The thermostat had been disconnected while the painters worked, and a fine layer of dust covered the kitchen counters. I pulled the plastic from the couch. Dust rose in a pale cloud and settled on my shirt. There were no sheets on the bed. My towels were still in a box labeled bathroom, which turned out to contain a lamp, 2 serving bowls, and a framed certificate from the hardware chain, thanking me for 25 years of service. The box labeled books contained towels. I showered in the small guest bathroom, where the water took 4 minutes to become warm and the shower head pointed directly at the wall. Afterward, I ate crackers and cheese from a paper towel because I couldn't find plates. At 9:30, my phone rang. Claire. My daughter was 34, 3 years younger than Adam, and had inherited Susan's ability to begin a conversation in the middle. What happened? Good evening. Adam called me. That was fast. He said you accused him of having an affair in front of Rachel. I told Rachel I wasn't with him Thursday. And then you told her about some woman. He told her about the woman. Dad. What did Adam say happened? That he confided in you because he and Rachel were having a rough patch, and you made it sound like he was sleeping with a coworker. He told the coworker he might be separating. Claire went quiet. Did he sleep with her? She asked. He says no. Do you believe him? I don't know. Then why did you blow everything up before you knew? I sat on the uncovered couch. The plastic sheet lay crumpled at my feet. I found his wedding ring in the washing machine. What? He had taken it off to meet her. Okay, that's bad. Yes. But he came to you. Maybe he was trying to figure things out. He asked me to hide it from Rachel. So you gave him 2 days and then decided to manage the deadline. The words were so close to Rachel's that I felt cornered by the truth from opposite directions. He tried to use me as an alibi, and you couldn't just say no. You had to expose everything at the kitchen table, Rachel was asking me directly. Claire exhaled. You always do this. Do what? You act neutral until you suddenly take over. You did it with Mom. You told us everything was fine for months. Then one night, you sat everybody down and announced you were going to counseling, like it was a family project. That's not the same. It never is to you. I looked toward the dark window. My reflection floated over the empty living room, a man sitting alone with a towel around his shoulders. Saturday's dinner is canceled, Claire said. I assumed. Mom already ordered the cake. Plain chocolate. What? Nothing. Claire's voice softened, but not enough to become comfort. Adam says you moved out. He told me to. He says Rachel asked both of you for space. Both are true. So, what are you going to do? I looked at the boxes, the bare walls, the bathroom door propped open so the mismatched tiles could dry. For once, I said, I'm not sure it's mine to fix. Claire was quiet for a long time. Maybe, she said, you should have figured that out before you broke it. After we hung up, I found a clean sheet in the books box and spread it over the couch. At 10:15, a message appeared from Rachel. I thought it would be a question. It contained 6 words. I need you not to contact me. I read them twice, then set the phone face down on the floor. Somewhere in the building, Norman pressed the wrong buzzer. Mine rang until midnight. At 12:07, I unplugged the buzzer. The next morning, Norman knocked to report that nobody had answered his bell all night. I know, I said. That's a safety issue. It was mostly a sleep issue. What if I'd needed help? Did you? No, but I could have. He stood in the hallway wearing plaid pajama pants and a Cleveland Browns sweatshirt. Norman was at least 70 and built like a fence post. He had a white mustache that made every statement look formally issued. I'll tell the electrician, I said. You should tell the association. I'll tell both. Get names. Absolutely. He studied the open boxes behind me. You got coffee? I have a coffee maker. I haven't found coffee. I've got coffee. Before I could decline, he disappeared into his condo. 10 minutes later, I was sitting at Norman's kitchen table, drinking something dark enough to dissolve a spoon. His apartment was spotless. Every surface held either a model train or a framed photograph of a woman with red hair. My wife, he said when he caught me looking. Dottie. She have a train too? She hated them. There were trains on the shelves, trains above the cabinets, trains circling a track suspended near the ceiling. She must have hated them a lot. 38 years. Marriage. Complaining about the trains. I smiled. Norman pushed a sugar bowl toward me. She died 6 years ago. I'm sorry. So am I. He said it without lowering his voice or looking away. Grief in Norman's apartment was not a delicate object. It sat on the table with the coffee. What happened to your heat? He asked. Painter disconnected the thermostat. You pay him? Not the final amount. Good. Never pay a man who leaves you cold. He took a drink and watched me over the rim. You married? Divorced? Recent? 9 years. Then why do you look newly miserable? I added another spoonful of sugar. Tile, I said. He nodded. That'll do it. The installer arrived at 8:30 carrying a box of replacement tiles and the expression of a man returning to a house where the dog had bitten him. I spent the morning answering questions about grout spacing, edge trim, and whether 2/16 of an inch was visually meaningful. Normally, I enjoyed those discussions. I had spent most of my adult life helping people distinguish between what they wanted and what they were willing to pay for. That morning, every decision felt insulting. What do you think? The installer asked, holding up 2 samples. I don't care. He lowered them. You cared a lot yesterday. Use the one that matches. They both match depending on light. Then turn on all the lights. He left me alone after that. At noon, I found my plates in a box labeled winter clothes. I heated canned soup in a saucepan that still had a hardware store price sticker on the bottom. I had bought it during a clearance sale and never removed the sticker because it pleased me to remember I'd saved 40%. My phone stayed silent on the counter. I honored Rachel's request. I did not call, text, send flowers, ask Claire for updates, or invent a practical reason to stop by the house. Restraint should have felt noble. Mostly it felt like sitting outside a locked room while voices moved behind the door. Susan called shortly after 2. Claire told me not to call you, she said. Then this is already going well. She also said Adam told her you invented an affair. I didn't invent it. That's what I assumed. I leaned against the kitchen counter. Why? Because you're many things, Daniel, but imaginative under pressure isn't one of them. Thank you, I think. What happened? I told her. Not every detail. I didn't repeat the cruel things Adam had said, or the private questions Rachel had asked me about my marriage. I told Susan about the ring, Paige, the hotel bar, the restaurant charge, and the deadline I had imposed. When I finished, she said, "You gave him 2 days?" "Yes." "Why?" I thought he deserved a chance to tell her himself. "No? Why 2? "I don't know. You always pick a number when you want fear to look like a plan." I rubbed my forehead. "Could you occasionally remember why we got divorced and be less accurate?" I could, but what would be the fun? A tile saw started in the bathroom. The high whine filled the condo. "What's that?" she asked. "The sound of money." "You're there already?" "I moved in last night. Is it habitable?" Define habitable. Heat. Water. No exposed electrical wires. 2 out of 3. Daniel. "I have heat now." The saw stopped. Silence rushed back. "Susan," I said, "I'm sorry." "For what part?" "It wasn't cruel. It was a fair question. For telling you that you were confused when you said you wanted to leave. For talking to Adam and Claire as if your unhappiness were a scheduling problem. For waiting until you were done before I took you seriously." She didn't speak. I almost filled the silence. Explaining had always been my way of making apologies less dangerous. If I gave people enough context, maybe they would reduce the sentence. This time, I let the words stand without assistance. Finally, Susan said, "Why are you telling me now?" "Because Rachel asked me if I wished I'd fought harder." "What did you say?" "That I wished I'd paid attention sooner." Another silence. "That's closer," she said. "Closer to what?" "The truth." I sat at the counter. "I'm not asking you for anything," I said. "I know. I don't expect forgiveness. I forgave you years ago. That isn't the same as wanting to come back. I know that too. Do you?" The question held no invitation, only history. "Yes," I said. The tile saw started again, saving both of us. Susan raised her voice over it. "What are you going to do about Adam?" "Nothing." "You don't mean that." "I mean, I'm not going to contact Rachel. She asked me not to." "That's not what I asked. I'm not going to repair it for him. He won't like that. He already doesn't like me. He likes you. He's furious because liking you has always come with rescue." I watched dust settle across the sunlight on the counter. "You made it easy for him," she said. "So did I, in other ways. But you were the one who could always turn consequences into misunderstandings." "I know. Don't turn this one into a lesson you give him. He'll argue with the lesson. Just stop." The simplicity of it annoyed me. "Is that all?" "No. The tort is non-refundable. Of course it is. I'm picking it up Saturday. Claire and I will eat it. Plain chocolate?" "Yes." "Rachel likes the plain." "I know, Daniel." We hung up. The installer appeared in the kitchen doorway, wearing protective glasses. "I heard some of that," he said. "How much?" "Enough to know this isn't really about tile. Did you fix the wall?" "Mostly. Then today it's about tile." He nodded and went back to work. Adam called at 5:30. I watched his name pulse across the screen until the final ring, then answered. "What?" "Nice. You called me. Did you talk to Mom?" "Yes." "Why?" "She called me." "What did you tell her?" "The truth." "Your truth?" "The part where I found your ring in the washing machine is fairly resistant to interpretation." He breathed into the phone. "Rachel left," he said. I sat straighter. "Where'd she go?" "I don't know." "You don't know?" "She packed a bag this morning. Said she was staying with a friend." "Did you call her?" "She won't answer." "Did you text?" "Obviously." "What did you say?" "What does that matter?" "It matters more than how many times." He ignored that. "I need you to tell her nothing happened. I don't know that." "I told you nothing happened. You told me Paige kissed your cheek. I saw lipstick on your collar. That isn't proof of anything." "I didn't say it was." "Then tell Rachel you believe me." "I don't." The line went quiet. When Adam spoke again, his voice had changed. "You believe I slept with Paige?" "I believe you built a separate version of your marriage for her. Whether you slept together is one detail." "One detail?" "That's the detail." "Not to Rachel." "You don't know what matters to Rachel. Neither do you, apparently." He swore under his breath. "You started this," he said. "You don't get to walk away now. You told me to leave. I was angry, so was I. You were supposed to give me until Monday night. It was Monday night. I meant after dinner. You never said that. Because normal people understand what night means. I told you by dinner. Do you hear yourself? You set rules like you were my parole officer. I almost responded. Then I remembered Susan's advice. Just stop. I won't contact Rachel, I said. She asked me not to. You can contact her to correct what you said. What did I say that was wrong? He had no answer ready. I continued. If you want her to believe you, tell her the whole truth once. Don't wait for her to uncover each part. I have told her. Did you tell Paige your marriage was essentially over? I never used those words. What words did you use? It doesn't matter. Then you haven't told Rachel. He exhaled sharply. Claire thinks you overreacted too. Claire wasn't there. She knows how you get. How do I get? Self-righteous, controlling. You were so desperate to prove you weren't protecting me that you made yourself the hero. That hurt, because some part of me had imagined the scene that way. The quiet father refusing the lie. The ring placed on the table, a clean act of courage after years of cowardice. But Rachel had not seen a hero. She had seen two men deciding the timing of her life. I'm not the hero, I said. Good. We agree. I was wrong to wait. That isn't what I meant. I know. You're not listening. For once I am. He hung up. The installer left at 6. He told me not to use the main bathroom for 24 hours and handed me a spare tile in case of future incidents. I ate the rest of the soup and went downstairs to check the mail. Norman stood beside the mailboxes holding 3 envelopes. Mine? I asked. Yours, mine, and a woman named Patel's. They've got the boxes wrong too. Anything in this building work? Elevator, mostly. The elevator doors opened behind us, then immediately closed without anyone entering. Norman watched them. Mostly, he repeated. He handed me an envelope from the condo association and nodded toward the lobby. A delivery driver stood outside the glass doors, holding a large white bakery box. For one stupid second, I thought Susan had sent the tort early. Then I saw Adam through the glass behind him. He wore the same office clothes he'd had on the day before. His hair was uncombed. When I opened the door, he stepped inside without asking. Norman looked from him to me. Tile? Norman asked. My son. Norman considered Adam's face. Worse. Adam waited until the elevator carried Norman away. Then he held out his phone. On the screen was a message from Paige. I could see only the final line. I won't be part of this anymore. Adam looked at me as if I had written it. She ended it, he said. I stared at him. Ended what? His hand lowered. That was when he realized he had finally used the wrong word. The delivery driver tapped on the glass. Either of you Patel? No, I said. He looked at the label, looked at us, then walked toward the other entrance carrying the bakery box. Adam still held his phone at his side. What ended? I asked again. He pushed past me into the lobby. You know what I meant. I know which word you used. It was an emotional relationship. I already admitted that. Did Rachel talk to Paige? Yes. When? This afternoon. How did she get her number? She called my office and asked to be transferred. That sounded like Rachel. No secret search through his phone, no dramatic detective work. She had called the front desk, used Paige's full name, and waited through hold music. What did Paige tell her? I don't know. Rachel won't talk to me. Then how do you know they spoke? Paige told me. He touched the elevator button. Nothing happened. He pressed it again with the impatience of someone who believed machinery could be intimidated. Stairs are there, I said. I can see that. We climbed to the 3rd floor. Adam followed me into the condo and looked around at the boxes, plastic sheets, and single lamp on the floor. You're actually staying here? That's generally what moving in means. There's no furniture. There's furniture under the plastic. That bathroom doesn't have a door. It has a door. It's leaning against the wall. He stared into the unfinished hallway. For the first time since he arrived, some of his anger gave way to discomfort. He had told me to come here because, in his mind, the condo was a completed location. He had not pictured me sleeping on a half-covered couch while grout dried. You could have gotten a hotel, he said. I could have. Why didn't you? I own this. The words came out sharper than I intended. Not because ownership gave me power over anyone, but because it was the only place where my right to remain did not depend on being useful. Adam sat on the arm of the couch. Do you have anything to drink? Water. I mean, a drink, I know. He stood again and paced to the window. He looked down at the parking lot as if Rachel's car might pull in. I didn't sleep with Paige, he said. I heard you the other times. Nothing physical happened. Then why did she call it ending? Because we agreed to stop talking outside work. That sounds like ending something. It was a friendship. Did she think it was a friendship? She knew it was complicated. That word does a lot of work for you. He spun around. Can you stop talking like every sentence belongs on a plaque? I'm asking ordinary questions. No, you're making little pronouncements. You used to be a person. I'm still here. Barely. He gestured at the room. I went into the kitchen and filled 2 glasses from the tap. The water came out cloudy, then cleared. I gave him one. He didn't drink it. Paige said Rachel told her we were still sharing a bedroom, he said. You were. I know. Did Paige? She knew we lived in the same house. That isn't what I asked. He set the glass down untouched. I told her Rachel and I had been emotionally separate for a long time. Were you? Some days. Did Rachel know? Why do you keep asking questions you know the answer to? Because I want to hear whether you know it. He laughed and rubbed both hands through his hair. This is unbelievable. What did Paige believe would happen? If I got Nashville, we talked about spending more time together. As co-workers? Initially. The words sat between us. And later? I asked. We didn't plan every minute of a hypothetical future, but there was a future. There was a possibility. While Rachel was planning to move with you, she assumed she would. You let her? I didn't have a job offer. Why would I blow up my marriage over something that might not happen? There it was, stripped of softer language. You were going to wait, I said. I was going to make a decision when there was a decision to make. You already made one. You just didn't want consequences until the rest of it was guaranteed. He looked toward the window again. I love Rachel, he said. I believe you. He turned, surprised. Love doesn't seem to be the disputed fact, I said. Then why are you acting like I'm a monster? I'm not. Mom is. Claire's halfway there. Rachel won't answer me. Paige thinks I manipulated her. Did you? I didn't mean to. That wasn't the question. He grabbed his glass and drank half the water. Some ran onto his chin. He wiped it with his sleeve. I was unhappy, he said. Paige listened. She didn't need me to fix things every 5 minutes. She didn't come home with lists. She didn't turn every conversation into what we needed to do next. Because you didn't share a house with her. You don't know her. No. Neither do you in the way you know a person after 10 years of wet towels, tax returns, bad moods, and deciding whose turn it is to buy toilet paper. Maybe I don't want my whole life to be toilet paper. Then buy some without being asked. He glared at me. I shouldn't have smiled, but I did. This is funny to you? He asked. No. That part was. He sat on the couch, plastic crackling beneath him. The fight seemed to leave his body all at once. His elbows rested on his knees. Rachel asked Paige if I told her we hadn't had sex in months. I waited. I never told Paige that. Did you let her think it? I said Rachel and I were more like roommates. Were you? No. That one word cost him more than all the others. He stared at the floor. We had problems, he said. I wasn't completely lying. You keep grading dishonesty by percentage. And you keep acting like nobody's allowed to be confused. You were allowed to be confused. Rachel was allowed to know confusion was making plans. He covered his face with his hands. For a while, the only sound was the refrigerator making an intermittent clicking noise. Another item from my list. I need you to talk to her, he said through his hands. She told me not to contact her. She said that before she talked to Paige. That doesn't cancel it. Tell her I came here. Tell her I admitted everything. Did you? His hands dropped. What else do you want from me? Nothing. That's a lie. I want you to tell her yourself. She won't answer. Then wait. If I wait, she'll make decisions. I looked at him. He heard it too. That came out wrong, he said. No, I think it came out clean. He stood. Forget it. Where are you going? Home. Is Rachel there? No. Then why did you come here? He picked up his phone from the counter. I don't know. He made it to the doorway before stopping. His shoulders were squared, but one hand had tightened around the frame. When he spoke, his back remained toward me. I couldn't stand being in the house. I thought of him at 8, 16, 23. Please, Dad. The instinct to rescue him rose so quickly it felt physical. I wanted to tell him everything would settle. Rachel loved him. People survived worse. Paige would calm down. Claire would come around. I wanted to pour certainty over him until neither of us had to feel what he had done. Instead, I said, "You can sleep here tonight." He turned. "On what?" "The couch." "You're on the couch. I'll use the bed." "You said you don't have sheets." I found one. He looked at the narrow couch with its sheet and folded towel. "This place is freezing. The thermostat works now. That doesn't mean the heat works. The heat is doing its best." His mouth moved as if he might smile, but he stopped it. "I'm not asking you to stay," I said. "I'm saying you can. What's the difference? One is rescue. One is a couch." He stood in the doorway another moment, then shut it. I found a second sheet in the box labeled kitchen. We ate peanut butter crackers at the counter because I still had not bought groceries. Adam inspected the crackers as if I'd offered him roofing shingles. "You need food," he said. I became aware of that. "There's a pizza place downstairs." "I don't want pizza. You always want pizza. Tonight I want you to experience crackers." He ate 6. We didn't discuss Rachel again. We argued about whether the refrigerator clicking meant a relay problem, watched part of a baseball game on my laptop, and discovered the bedroom outlets didn't work unless the hall light was on. At 11, I gave him the couch and took the mattress in the bedroom. It had no frame, so getting down required a controlled fall. Through the wall, I heard Adam moving beneath the sheet. The couch squeaked. His phone buzzed twice, then again. Near midnight, he knocked on the open bedroom door. "You awake?" "No." He leaned against the frame. "Do you think Mom was right to leave you?" The question should have hurt. Instead, it felt overdue. "Yes." He stared into the dark room. "Did you know that then?" "No." "What did you think? That she was destroying the family because she refused to try? Did she try? For years." He was quiet. "Why didn't you see it?" he asked. "I saw the parts that required nothing from me." His silhouette shifted in the doorway. "If Rachel leaves," he said, "does that mean she's right?" "It means she leaves. That's not an answer. It's the only one you get to start with." He went back to the couch. When I woke, pale morning light filled the bedroom. Adam was already dressed. He stood in the kitchen drinking tap water. "I have an early meeting," he said. "You can shower if you want. I'll go home." He put down the glass. "Thanks for the couch." "Sure." At the door, he paused. "You won't call her?" "Not unless she asks." He nodded, though it was an agreement. After he left, I found his crumpled office shirt beneath the sheet, the same one he had worn 2 days running. In the pocket was a folded receipt from Copper Rye. 2 dinners, 2 glasses of wine, 1 chocolate dessert. At the bottom, in Adam's handwriting, were 3 words. "Paige likes this." I folded the receipt again and put it back in his pocket. For years, I had believed cleaning up after someone was a form of love. I left the shirt exactly where he had dropped it. It stayed there until after lunch. I stepped around it twice. The third time, I picked it up, carried it to the closet, and hung it from the knob. That wasn't cleaning. It was relocation. At 1:13, Adam texted. "I left a shirt." I wrote back, "I noticed. Can you wash it? Need it tomorrow." I looked at the words until the screen dimmed. "No." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then returned. "Seriously?" I put the phone down. A minute later, it rang. "You have a washing machine," Adam said. "So do you. I'm already at work. You can collect it and wash it tonight. It's 1 shirt. "Yes." "You're proving a point with laundry now?" "I'm not washing it. You washed my clothes for 4 months. That's how the ring ended up in my hand." He went quiet. I could have ended the call. Instead, I stood beside the shirt and waited. "Just throw it in a bag," he said. "I'll get it later. It's hanging on the closet." "Fine." "Your receipt is still in the pocket." Another silence, heavier than the first. "You went through my pockets?" It fell out when I picked up the shirt. That wasn't entirely true. I had removed it, read it, folded it, and replaced it. I wondered whether precision had become another way I hid. "What did you read?" he asked. "The whole thing. It's a receipt. You wrote on it. I make notes for expenses. Paige's dessert is a business expense. She said the restaurant would be good for client dinners. Then your company owes you 2 glasses of wine and a chocolate tart. It was flourless cake. Important distinction. Dad." I put it back. "You shouldn't have read it. You shouldn't have left it in the pocket of a shirt you expected me to wash." He let out a breath. "I'll pick it up." He arrived 20 minutes after 6. I had put the shirt in a grocery bag by the door. He picked it up, checked the pocket, and held the receipt between two fingers. You told me nothing physical happened, I said. Nothing did. Dinner counts as something. I never said we didn't have dinner. You called it drinks after work. Dinner came with the drinks and dessert. She ordered it. I had 2 bites. You wrote down that she liked it. Why does that bother you so much? Because you noticed. He folded the receipt and slid it into his wallet. Rachel hates fruit with chocolate, I said. I know because I've eaten at her table for years. You learned what Paige likes while telling yourself you weren't building anything. His face went flat. This is exactly why I didn't tell you. You didn't tell me. I found the receipt. I mean, about being unhappy. You didn't tell Rachel either. He looked down the hall as Norman emerged from his apartment carrying a bag of trash. Norman saw Adam and stopped. Shirt problem? Adam glanced at me. Is he always here? He lives there. Walls are thin, Norman said. Doors too. I'm sure that's reassuring to everyone, Adam replied. Norman continued toward the elevator, then looked back at me. Don't forget they're testing the fire alarm Friday. I won't. Tell him. I just did. The elevator doors closed around him. Adam watched them. You've made a friend. We've shared coffee. That's all it takes now? Apparently. He tucked the grocery bag under his arm. You need to get the rest of your boxes, he said. I said I would. Rachel doesn't want to come back while your things are there. The word struck before I could prepare for them. Is she coming back? I don't know. She said she needs the room to feel like hers. It is hers. You know what I mean? No, I don't. She says the whole house feels staged. The anniversary picture, your boxes, me acting normal. She wants things cleared out. Did she ask you to tell me that? She asked when your stuff would be gone. That sounded different. When can I come? Tomorrow? 6? She won't be there. Where is she staying? I don't know. You keep saying that because she won't tell me. Maybe she doesn't want you showing up. I'm not some psycho. I didn't say you were. You implied it. I said maybe she wants privacy. From her husband. Yes. He shifted the bag beneath his arm. Claire talked to her, he said. What did she say? She won't tell me. Good. His eyebrows lifted. She shouldn't carry messages between you, I said. You didn't mind carrying mine when you decided to destroy everything, I minded. That's why I stopped. He stared at me, then walked away. The next evening, Norman helped me move the boxes. I had not asked him. He saw me bring in a dolly from the storage room and appeared in work gloves. You'll throw your back out, he said. I managed a hardware store. That's not a weight class. Adam opened the garage before we reached the driveway. He wore running shorts and an old gray t-shirt. He looked as if he had showered but not slept. Who's this? He asked. Norman. I know who he is. Why is he here? To lift, Norman said. I can help my father. Did you? Adam looked at me. Walls are thin, I explained. Norman passed him and climbed the garage stairs. The room looked exactly as I had left it, except for the stripped mattress. Rachel had folded the sheets I'd placed downstairs and stacked them at the foot of the bed. On top sat the silver picture frame she'd planned to return. The wedding photograph was inside it now. She had removed it from the wooden frame and put it behind the cold silver leaves Adam had chosen. I picked it up. Is this mine? I called. Adam appeared in the doorway. Take it. I meant the photograph. I don't care. The answer was too quick. I wrapped the frame in a sweatshirt and put it in the box with my coats. We carried down cords, tools, winter clothes, old plaques, and 3 cartons containing more extension cords than any retired man needed. Adam tried to help, but Norman kept handing him light objects with insulting care. Lamp, Norman said, placing a small brass lamp in Adam's arms. I can take a box. Lamp's tricky. It weighs 4 pounds. Then don't drop it. I should have intervened. I didn't. On the final trip, I went into the house to collect the framed photographs I had stored in the dining room closet. The kitchen was clean, too clean. No mail on the counter, no shoes beside the garage door, no gardening gloves near the sink. The wooden anniversary frame lay face down beside the coffee maker. Adam came in behind me. Where's the ring? I asked. He opened the refrigerator. What ring? I waited. He took out a bottle of water. Rachel left it on the table. I put it away. Where? Why? I'm asking. In my desk. He drank without looking at me. Are you wearing yours? He asked. My what? Your old ring. No. You kept it. Yes. Why? I picked up the photographs from the closet shelf. Keeping something isn't the same as knowing what to do with it. He closed the refrigerator. Do you think I should throw mine away? No. Do you think I should give it back? That isn't my decision. Convenient. I thought you didn't want me supervising your marriage. He leaned against the counter. I want you to have an opinion like a normal person. I have plenty. You don't need them all? What would you do? 9 years ago or now? Now. I'd stop asking other people to make your remorse sound convincing. He looked down at the water bottle. Rachel said she wants a separation, he said. I held the photographs tighter. Temporary, she didn't specify. When did she say it? This morning, over the phone. She won't meet me until next week. I'm sorry. Are you? Yes. He nodded, though he didn't believe me. I told her I'd give her space. Then do that. She's my wife. I know. I should fight for her. Maybe. He looked up sharply. Maybe? Fighting can be another way of refusing to hear no. The sentence belonged partly to Susan. Most useful truths do not arrive new. Adam's mouth hardened. You're enjoying this, he said. I looked at the empty kitchen, the face-down frame, my life packed into Norman's borrowed pickup outside. No, I said. That may be the first thing you've been completely wrong about. We finished loading, without speaking. Back at the condo, Norman and I stacked the boxes along the living room wall. He refused money, beer, and the unopened can of mixed nuts I found in a kitchen drawer. Coffee, he said. You already gave me coffee. Tomorrow, you make it. I still haven't bought any. Then, you're not ready to live alone. After he left, I unwrapped the silver frame. Susan and I had stood on the church steps just outside the picture, among the people throwing birdseed. You couldn't see us, but I remembered being there. Susan's hand had been on my arm. Claire, 24 then, had complained that birdseed was inside her shoes. Rachel's mother cried so hard the photographer brought her water. Adam and Rachel looked young, but not unformed. They had been adults making a promise they understood, as well as anyone understands one before it is tested. I set the frame on the floor facing the wall. The fire alarm began at 10 Friday morning. It produced a shriek loud enough to make every private thought leave the building. Residents gathered outside in slippers and coats, while a technician walked from floor to floor. Norman wore earmuffs and carried a folding chair. You were prepared, I said. Association sent 3 notices. I received 1. Mailboxes are wrong. We sat on the curb. A woman named Mrs. Patel passed around pastries from the white bakery box that had arrived 2 days earlier. I ate half an apricot Danish before remembering I disliked apricots. My phone buzzed with a message from Claire. Mom says you apologized. I wrote, I did. For everything? No. That answer took longer. What's left? I considered telling her apologies were not inventory. Instead, I wrote, plenty. Claire didn't respond. The alarm stopped, but nobody trusted it enough to go inside. We waited while the technician tested it twice more. At noon, Susan called. Claire is coming over for cake tomorrow, she said. That sounds nice. She thinks I've taken your side. Have you? No. I think Adam betrayed his wife, and you mishandled the truth. Adults are exhausting because 2 things can be true. I remember you saying something like that during the divorce. You said I was being contradictory. I was wrong. You're getting suspiciously agreeable. I can argue if it helps. Come tomorrow, to your house. We have enough tort for 12 people. Claire won't like it. Claire is 34. She'll survive a room with her father. I don't want to turn canceled anniversary cake into a tribunal. Then don't behave like a defendant. I looked at the boxes lining my wall. What time? I asked. 3. The invitation sat uneasily with me for the rest of the day. At 2:50 the next afternoon, I parked in front of Susan's house. Claire's car was already in the driveway. Before I reached the porch, my phone buzzed. The message was from Rachel. Can we talk tomorrow? I stopped with 1 foot on the first step. Another message followed. Just you and me. Adam can't know. I typed yes, then erased it. Where? Her answer came almost immediately. Lakeside Diner, 10. I wrote, I'll be there. Before putting the phone away, I added, if Adam asks me directly, I won't lie. The 3 dots appeared for a long time. Understood. Susan opened the front door before I knocked. You planning to live on the porch? I was answering a message. From whom? I see divorce didn't make you less curious. It made me curious from farther away. She stepped aside. The house smelled like coffee and chocolate. Susan had changed very little in 9 years. Same cream walls, same dark wood furniture, same insistence on lighting lamps in broad daylight because overhead lights were for surgeries and interrogations. Claire sat at the dining table with a small slice of torte in front of her. She wore black slacks and a green blouse, her dark hair cut shorter than the last time I'd seen her. She looked like Susan around the eyes and like me when she was disappointed. "You came," she said. "Your mother threatened me with cake." "I invited you," Susan said. "You use cake as leverage. That isn't a threat. It's hospitality with structure." A third plate waited at the table. The torte was 8 inches wide, glossy on top, and dense enough to qualify as building material. Across it, in white icing, the bakery had written, "Happy Anniversary, Adam Rachel." Susan had tried to scrape the words off. The surface now read, "Happy A, Eri Dam Rach." "You could have left it," I said. It seemed grim. "This is less grim. It looked better in my head." Claire took a bite. "It tastes the same." "That's the spirit," Susan said. I sat across from my daughter. For several minutes, we discussed safe things, the condo, the mismatched tile, Claire's work at an insurance company, which she described as preventing adults from setting fire to spreadsheets. Susan complained about a grocery store that had moved the crackers without consulting her. Then Claire put down her fork. "Adam called me at 1 this morning." Susan looked irritated. "Why did you answer?" "Because he's my brother." "That doesn't explain 1 in the morning." He sounded awful. I took a drink of coffee. "What did he want?" "Advice." "About?" "How to get Rachel to talk to him." "What did you say?" "That he should leave her alone for a few days." "Good." Claire's eyes narrowed. "You don't need to approve." "You're right." That surprised her enough to interrupt the next sentence. She picked up her fork, set it down again, then said, "He says Rachel talked to Paige." "She did." "How do you know?" "Adam came to my condo after Paige ended their relationship." Claire stared. Ended, that was his word. Susan leaned back in her chair. "Interesting word." "He says he misspoke," I said. "Did he?" Claire asked. "I don't think so." She looked at her cake. "I talked to Rachel too," she said. "She told me Paige confirmed they didn't sleep together." A brief, shameful relief moved through me. I hadn't wanted that for Adam's sake, as much as I had wanted my uncertainty resolved. Claire continued. "Paige said they never even kissed on the mouth. She kissed his cheek Sunday because he told her they had to slow down." "Slow down," Susan repeated. Paige thought Adam had already told Rachel they were separating. Not maybe, not eventually. She thought they had agreed to live together until he knew about Nashville. I looked toward the window. Susan's bird feeder swung empty outside. "So," Claire said, "he lied to Paige too." "Yes." "But he didn't sleep with her." Susan lifted her coffee. "You seem determined to find the best room in a burning house. I'm trying to be accurate. So is your father, usually when accuracy is least useful." "Thank you," I said. "You're welcome." Claire looked at me. "Do you think he was going to leave Rachel?" "Yes." "You don't know that?" "No. I think he was waiting to see if he got the promotion. That isn't the same as deciding. It is to the person waiting at home." Claire's jaw tightened. "You've decided he's exactly like you." I sat back. "Why would you say that?" "Because this whole thing has become your chance to redo the divorce. You couldn't listen to Mom, so now you're listening to Rachel. You protected Adam then, so now you're making sure everybody sees you refusing to protect him." Susan started to speak. I raised one hand. Claire was not wrong simply because her anger was uncomfortable. "I probably did make part of it about me," I said. "Probably." I found the ring and thought I could control what happened next by giving him 2 days. "You can't manage betrayal with office hours." "No. And then when he missed your deadline, you made him confess in front of you. I refused his alibi. The rest followed. That's a very neat way to say it. What would you have done?" She looked away. "I don't know. That's fair. I wouldn't have waited 2 days. I know that now. You knew it then." "Part of me did." Susan cut herself another sliver of cake. Claire looked at her. "Are you going to say anything?" "I was waiting to see whether you two could finish a difficult conversation without assigning me a role. That sounds like something from therapy. It cost enough." Claire gave a reluctant smile. Susan placed the cake server down. Your father trained Adam to expect rescue. I helped train both of you to treat your father like the customer service department. If something went wrong, Daniel handled it. If Daniel handled it badly, we complained about the service. That makes him sound generous, Claire said. He was generous. He was also controlling. Those can live in the same man. Apparently you liked contradictions, I said. For 27 years. She looked at me, and there was no invitation in it, but there was warmth, a small amount, enough to feel. Claire folded her napkin. Adam says Dad turned you against him. Susan laughed. What? Claire asked. Your brother has spent 40 years believing people stand wherever the last man puts them. He's upset. He should be. He might lose his marriage. He might. Claire's voice rose. Why is everybody so calm about that? Because shouting doesn't preserve marriages, Susan said. Your father and I tested it extensively. The room went quiet. I reached for another piece of tort, though I didn't want it. Claire watched me. Rachel won't tell Adam where she is. She doesn't have to. I know. Do you? She frowned. What's that supposed to mean? He'll ask you again. He already has. What did you tell him? That I'm not carrying messages. I looked at her. She shrugged. Somebody gave me good advice. Your mother? Rachel. Susan smiled into her coffee. We ate more cake than any 3 adults should eat in daylight. When I stood to leave, Claire followed me to the front hallway. Are you talking to Rachel? She asked. I took my jacket from the hook. Why? She asked me what you knew. When? Yesterday. What did you say? That she should ask you. I put on my jacket. Good answer. So you are, she asked to meet. Claire nodded, then looked toward the dining room to make sure Susan wasn't nearby. Don't decide for her, she said. I won't. And don't decide for Adam either. I'll try. That isn't very reassuring. It's more honest than promising. She opened the door for me. Dad, I turned. I'm still angry with you. I know. But I don't think you invented it. That was all she could give. I accepted it. At 10 the next morning, Rachel sat in a booth at the back of Lakeside Diner. She had chosen the side facing the entrance. Her hair was down, and she wore a navy jacket zipped to her throat, though the diner was warm. A mug of coffee sat untouched in front of her. I slid into the opposite seat. Thank you for coming, she said. Of course. A waitress approached, and I ordered coffee. Rachel waited until she left. Did Adam come to your condo Tuesday night? Yes. Did he stay there? Yes. Pain crossed her face before she hid it. He came because he couldn't stand being in the house, I said. I gave him the couch. You don't have to explain. I know. Did he ask you to contact me? Yes. What did you say? That you told me not to. She looked down at her hands. Her wedding ring was gone. A pale band circled her finger. Thank you, she said. The waitress brought my coffee. I added cream I didn't want and stirred it long after the color stopped changing. Rachel took a breath. I need you to tell me exactly what he told you before I found out. Not what you think it meant. His words, as close as you remember. So I did. I told her about the laundry room. Paige, the Marlowe. Adam saying there had been nothing physical. Paige believing there might be a separation. The promotion, Nashville, the possibilities. Rachel listened without interrupting. I told her about the lipstick and the Sunday office visit. I told her Adam had said he loved her. I did not soften the sentence that followed. He had wanted to wait until there was a decision to make. What did you say? She asked. That he already made one. She nodded. What did he say after I left the house? I hesitated. I need the truth. He said if he waited, you would make decisions. Her eyes closed. He realized how it sounded, I added. How did it sound? Like he believed your decisions were a risk. They were. She finally lifted the coffee and took a drink. It must have been cold. Paige told me everything, she said. Or everything she knows. She thought I had agreed to a quiet separation. She thought we were living like roommates because selling the house during his promotion process would be disruptive. Adam never mentioned selling, because that part came from her. They discussed neighborhoods in Nashville. She sent him apartment listings. I felt anger rise, but it did not belong in the booth. Did he respond? He told her which neighborhoods had bad commutes. Rachel's mouth twisted. That's not an affair, apparently. It's traffic advice. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do with your apologies yet. You don't have to do anything. She looked at me. Why did you protect him? Because he asked. That's all? No, because I was afraid of losing him. Because I wanted to believe he'd fix it if I gave him time. Because waiting let me feel merciful instead of cowardly. She studied my face. Did you ever think about telling me Saturday? Several times, but you didn't. No. Why not? I liked living there. I liked having dinner with you. I liked being needed. Telling you risked all of it. Her eyes filled, but she didn't look away. That's the first answer I believe completely, she said. I nodded. She wiped beneath one eye with her thumb. I'm meeting Adam Tuesday, she said. I'm telling him the separation isn't a pause while he convinces me to return. I need time to decide what my life looks like when I'm not waiting for his. That sounds fair. I didn't ask if it was fair. You're right, she leaned back. Do you think he loves me? Yes. The answer hurt her. I understood why. It would have been easier if Adam were empty, if 10 years could be dismissed as performance. Rachel pressed both hands around the cold mug. That's what I'm afraid of, she said. If he can love me and still do this, what exactly am I supposed to trust? I had no answer. We left separately. I stood beside my car, watching her drive away, when my phone rang. Adam, I answered. Have you heard from Rachel? He asked. Yes, I said. The word hung between us. When? Today. You met her? Yes. Where? I'm not going to tell you. His breathing changed. Why not? Because she asked me not to. She asked you to lie to me. She asked me not to tell you. I said I wouldn't lie if you asked directly. Very honorable. It was the best I could do. What did she say? That's between Rachel and me. He laughed. There it is again. What? You deciding which parts of my marriage belong to you. None of it belongs to me. That includes her side of a private conversation. She is my wife, and she asked for space. You sat in some secret meeting and talked about me. She asked questions. I answered. What questions? I'm not going to repeat them. What did you tell her? The truth. Your truth. No, Adam, your words. He went silent. Cars moved through the diner parking lot. A man in a red jacket pushed a shopping cart with one squeaking wheel toward the grocery store next door. Everything around me continued at the rude, ordinary speed of a day that had not been ruined. You promised you wouldn't contact her, Adam said. I promised I wouldn't unless she asked. That's not what I heard. It's what I said. You wanted this. I wanted what? For her to choose you. The accusation was so strange I didn't understand it at first. She isn't choosing me. You get to be the honest man now, the safe one. She calls you instead of me. She called me because I helped hide what you were doing. You love that she needs you. There was enough truth in it to sting. Yes, I said. He wasn't prepared for that. I do like being needed, I continued. It's caused problems before. That's why I told her I won't carry messages between you. You carried mine when it hurt me. I answered questions about things I knew. You could have told her I didn't sleep with Paige. I did. You did? Yes. That stopped him again. What else? He asked. I'm done. You don't get to be done. I'm hanging up now. If you hang up, I did. My hands were shaking when I put the phone in my pocket. Calm is not the absence of anger. Sometimes it is anger with nowhere useful to go. I drove back to the condo and found Norman standing outside my door with a voltage tester. Why do you have that? I asked. Your bedroom outlets. How do you know about my bedroom outlets? Walls. You need thicker walls. You need grounded wiring. He walked past me before I could object. For an hour, we tested outlets and discovered that the hall switch controlled 2 bedroom receptacles, 1 living room receptacle, and, for reasons nobody could explain, the light inside the coat closet. Bad design, Norman said. The building is 12 years old. Bad decisions don't improve with age. I handed him a screwdriver. You should put that on a plaque. He looked at me. Your son? Something like that. We moved the bed against the opposite wall so the lamp cord could reach an outlet that worked independently. Norman insisted my dresser was crooked. I insisted the floor was crooked. We proved both. By the time he left, the bedroom looked less temporary, not finished but occupied. I found the blue ceramic dish in a box and set it on the dresser. My old wedding ring lay beneath the coins. I almost moved it to a drawer. Instead, I left it where it was. Claire arrived after work carrying 2 grocery bags. I didn't know you were coming, I said. You told Mom you were living on crackers. I told her I ate crackers one night. She translated. Claire set the bags on the kitchen counter and began unloading eggs, bread, coffee, bananas, chicken breasts, and enough canned soup to survive a minor siege. "Your grandmother used to do this," I said. "Good genes." She also inspected the refrigerator for expired mustard. Claire opened the refrigerator. May. Of this year? No. She threw the bottle into the trash. I made coffee while she wandered through the condo. She stopped at the silver frame, which still faced the wall on the floor. "What's this?" Rachel put their wedding picture in it. Claire turned it over. "Why do you have it?" "It was with my things." She studied the photograph. "This was Mom's frame." "What?" "She gave it to Rachel before the wedding. Mom got it from Grandma." "I didn't know that. Apparently nobody in this family knows where anything comes from." She placed the frame on the counter, but did not stand it up. "Adam called me," she said. "He calls everybody. He asked if I knew Rachel met with you." "What did you say?" "That he should ask you?" "He did." "How'd that go?" I hung up. Claire nodded as if that met a standard. "She told me she's meeting him tomorrow," she said. "I know. She asked me to help her move some clothes into a short-term rental Wednesday." "Do you know where?" "Yes." "Don't tell him. I wasn't planning to." We took our coffee into the living room. Boxes formed a wall opposite the couch. Claire read the labels. "Cords, possibly useful," she said. "You saved them." "They survived review. Rachel told me to throw them out. Rachel isn't always right." Claire sat on the couch. "She's not coming back right now." "I know. Maybe not ever. I know that too." She leaned forward, elbows on her knees. "I keep thinking about the ring," she said. "Not him taking it off. You finding it?" "What about it?" "If I found it, I'd have told her immediately." "I believe you, but I don't know if that would have been because it was right or because I was mad at Adam. Those can happen together. That sounds like Mom. She's been saying useful things lately. She says them all the time. You've just stopped arguing long enough to hear." I smiled into my coffee. Claire looked around the room. "Are you okay here?" "It's improving." "That isn't what I asked." I considered lying. The old answer, fine, stood ready. "No," I said. "Not yet." Her face softened. "I'm lonely," I added. "I was lonely at Adam's house too. I just had chores there." Claire nodded. "We treated you like staff," she said. "You treated me like family. Sometimes those overlap." "No, Dad." "Adam did." "I did too." She looked toward the kitchen. "When my car broke down last year, I called you before I called roadside assistance. I know how to change a tire. You were 40 miles away. I also know how to drive. That's not the point." "Then what is?" "I didn't even ask what you were doing." I remembered. I had been in the middle of dinner with a man from the hardware store and his wife. I left before the food came. Claire never knew because I had not told her. "I could have said no," I said. "Would you?" "Probably not. That's the problem. No. The problem is, I said yes, and then quietly counted the cost." She sat back. "We're a mess," she said. "Your mother did her best. I meant all of us. That too." We unpacked 2 boxes together. One contained photographs, including an old picture of Adam and Claire in their 20s, standing in my former backyard during a 4th of July cookout. Adam had one arm around Claire. She was laughing so hard her eyes were closed. Claire took it home. The meeting between Adam and Rachel happened the next evening. I knew because Adam called at 8:40. I let it ring once before answering. "She wants 6 months," he said. "6 months of what?" "Separation." His voice sounded distant, as if he were speaking from a large empty room. "She's signing a short-term lease. She won't tell me where. You don't need to know right now. I'm her husband. You keep saying that like it's a key. She wants no unplanned visits, no calls after 9. She says we can meet with a counselor later, but not to save the marriage, to decide whether there's anything left to save." I sat on the edge of the bed. "What did you say? What do you think I said?" I told her this was insane. I told her nothing physical happened. Paige confirmed it. "What did Rachel say?" "She said I keep talking about the least important thing." "That sounds right." "Of course you think so." "I'm sorry. Stop saying that." "All right." He breathed into the phone. She asked if I would have told her if I didn't get the promotion. "What did you say?" I said yes. "Would you have?" "I don't know." It was the first time he had admitted uncertainty without using it as a defense. "Then tell her that," I said. "I already lied. You can correct it. And prove she can't trust anything I say? She already knows that. Honesty won't make it worse. You don't know that. No. There was no advice that could change what had happened, and he did not want advice anyway. He wanted a door. I took the ring out of my desk, he said. Did you put it on? No. What did you do with it? Put it in an envelope. I pictured the plain gold band sealed inside paper, stripped of the hand, the promise, even the blood Rachel had wiped away. Why? I asked. I don't know. We sat in silence across separate homes. Finally, Adam said, "She told me not to wait for her. Then don't turn waiting into pressure." What am I supposed to do? Live like she gets to decide without you supervising? He hung up without saying goodbye. The promotion decision came Thursday afternoon. I was in the paint aisle of a home improvement store, buying primer for the condo hallway when Adam called. They gave Nashville to Mark Ellison, he said. I set a gallon can back on the shelf. I'm sorry. He has less experience. Did they say why? Leadership concerns, timing, some garbage about stability during the transition. Did Paige have anything to do with it? No. She removed herself from the interview panel. That was probably wise. I would have gotten it if this hadn't happened. Maybe. I was the front runner. I know. You don't sound surprised. I'm not surprised companies make decisions we don't like. He gave a hollow laugh. So that's it, he said. No Nashville, no Paige. Rachel's in some apartment Claire won't tell me about. You still have your job. You know what I mean. I did. The future he had protected had disappeared, and the marriage he had kept as insurance was no longer available for him to return to. If they'd made the decision 2 weeks ago, he said, none of this would have happened. I gripped the card handle. Is that what you believe? I wouldn't have needed to consider moving. Paige would still exist. It wouldn't have gone anywhere. It already had. Not if Nashville was off the table. I closed my eyes. Rachel had asked what she was supposed to trust if Adam could love her and still do this. Here was the answer she feared. He believed the outcome changed the betrayal. Do you think Rachel would have stayed if I'd lost the promotion before you found the ring? He asked. Maybe. Then everything could have been fine. No, I said. Everything could have stayed hidden. He went quiet. I took the primer from the shelf again. You want to know the worst part? I said. What? You're still asking whether the option you didn't get would have made your wife useful again. That's not fair. It's the question underneath every question you've asked. He didn't answer. A store employee pushed a ladder past me and apologized. I moved my cart. When I lifted the phone back to my ear, the line was empty. I bought the primer. That felt important for reasons I couldn't have explained to the cashier. For the next 3 days, I painted the condo hallway. The wall had been beige, but not an intentional beige. It was the color left behind when nobody wanted to choose. I picked a warm gray, immediately regretted it, and spent an afternoon trying to decide whether warm gray was simply beige with a better publicist. Norman inspected the first coat. Too dark, he said. It's wet. It'll dry dark. Paint dries lighter. Not that paint. He was wrong. It dried lighter. He inspected it again and said, second coat might go dark. I gave him a roller. Claire came Sunday with sandwiches and painted the trim. She had never painted trim before, though she assured me she had watched several videos. By noon, there were white fingerprints on the hall wall and a thin line of paint in her hair. Don't tell Mom, she said. About the wall or your hair? Either? Susan arrived 20 minutes later with curtains she thought would fit the living room windows. She looked at Claire's hair, then at the trim. Videos? She asked. Claire pointed at me. He distracted me. I was in the bathroom. You came out? Susan set the curtains on the counter. This is why I hired painters after the divorce. I hired painters, I said. I'm correcting painters. Yes. A hobby you enjoyed during the marriage, too. The 3 of us ate sandwiches on folding chairs in the living room. It was the first time Susan had sat inside a home of mine since our divorce. Nobody mentioned it. She disliked the warm gray, but said it politely. Claire liked it because Susan didn't. I stopped asking either of them. The condo became livable one ordinary decision at a time. I bought groceries. I hung photographs. I put my base picture in the silver frame after removing Adam and Rachel's wedding photograph, which I stored carefully in a drawer. The base had been 9 pounds. The frame improved it. Claire saw it and said, Rachel was right. About what? No dead fish in anniversary decor. It's not anniversary decor anymore. She couldn't argue with that. My contact with Adam narrowed to short messages. Your mail came here. I'll get it tomorrow. Can you look at a noise my furnace is making? Call a technician. You are a technician. No, I sold filters to technicians. He sent back a thumbs down symbol. A week later, Claire called because her car needed new brake pads. I gave her the name of a mechanic. You don't want to look at them? She asked. No. Are you busy? I'm meeting Norman for breakfast. There was a pause. Okay, she said. No guilt, no wounded joke. She called the mechanic. I sat on the couch afterward, feeling strangely abandoned by a boundary I had set myself. Then Norman knocked and complained that I was making him late. Rachel and I met for coffee every few weeks. She chose different places each time. A bakery near her clinic, a cafe inside a bookstore. Once, a diner where the waitress called everyone honey and refilled our cups before they were empty. We did not talk about Adam during every meeting. Rachel told me about her rental's unreliable dishwasher and the woman at work who microwaved fish in the staff room. I told her about Norman's campaign against the condo mailboxes and Claire's trim painting technique. The first time we laughed together, Rachel stopped abruptly. I feel guilty, she said. For laughing? For enjoying anything connected to you? I understand. I'm still angry. I understand that too. Stop being so reasonable. It's irritating. I can talk about your dishwasher again. It doesn't wash the top rack. Water pressure. It's brand new. New things can have bad water pressure. See? Irritating. Her anger did not vanish. It changed shape. Some days she asked questions about the weekend. I stayed silent. Other days she refused to discuss it. I answered when she asked and did not offer information to earn forgiveness. Adam began seeing a counselor. I knew because he told Claire, Claire told Susan, and Susan accidentally told me while explaining that nobody should carry messages. The family communication system remains excellent, I said. I'm working on it, she replied. Rachel attended 2 sessions with him after 3 months apart. She told me only that he was trying. Does that mean you're going back? I asked. I don't know. That was intrusive. Yes. Sorry. She stirred cinnamon into her coffee. He listens in the sessions, she said. Then outside, he asks whether listening earned him another session. I understood. He wants a schedule, she said. If he does therapy for this long, gives me space for that long, apologizes the right number of times, when do I come home? That sounds familiar. You gave him 2 days. I did. Maybe he learned deadlines from you. Probably. She watched me absorb that. I didn't say it to punish you, she said. I know. I'm trying to understand him. So am I. The truth was, I understood Adam better as he stopped speaking to me. He had not rejected me completely. He simply did not know how to be my son without needing me to alter an outcome. Every conversation approached the same door. If I would tell Rachel, he had changed. If I would confirm that Paige had pursued him. If I would explain that losing the promotion had made the whole situation irrelevant. When I would not open that door, he had nowhere else to go. He came to the condo one evening, carrying a 6-pack of beer and a paint scraper. You said your bedroom window sticks, he said. I don't remember telling you that. Claire did. So much for the new communication system. He set the beer down. Do you want help or not? I let him in. The window had been painted shut. Adam worked the scraper around the frame while I held a flashlight. We argued about the angle, the blade, and whether whoever painted it should be arrested. Authority mechanism, he said. What, isn't that what you like? Somebody official deciding who's wrong? I managed a hardware store, Adam. I wasn't a judge. You acted like one. Judges don't usually fold towels. Depends on the court. The window opened with a sharp crack. Cool air entered the room. Adam lifted it twice to make sure it moved freely. There, he said. Thank you. We drank beer at the kitchen counter. He looked around the condo, taking in the curtains, photographs, and shelves. It's nice, he said. You sound surprised. I saw it before. It wasn't nice then. No? He noticed the blue ceramic dish on the dresser through the bedroom doorway. Is your ring still in there? Yes. Why don't you throw it away? I don't want to. Do you still love Mom? In some ways. Does she love you? You'd have to ask her. She'd tell me to ask you. No, she wouldn't. He smiled faintly. I took another drink. Where's yours? I asked. The envelope. In your desk? I moved it to my car. Why? I thought about giving it back to Rachel. Did she ask for it? No. Then why? I don't know. A gesture. What would it say? That I understand? Do you? His smile disappeared. You can't let one thing pass, he said. I asked a question. You always ask it in a way that has a correct answer, then give the wrong one. He picked at the beer label. I don't understand why she won't come home, he said. I understand why she left. I understand why she needed time. I've done everything she asked. You're describing compliance. What's wrong with compliance? Nothing, unless you think it purchases her. He pushed the bottle away. There's the plaque voice. I'm working on it. You don't seem to be. He looked toward the living room, where I had hung a photograph of him and Claire beside one of Susan at a family cookout. He was included everywhere without being centered. Do you talk about me with Rachel? He asked. Sometimes. What does she say? I'm not telling you. Do you tell her what I say? Only if you ask me to. I am asking. What do you want me to tell her? He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. There was no sentence he could trust once it left his control. Forget it, he said. We finished our beers. When he left, the bedroom window remained open 2 inches. I stood in the cool air and understood that I missed him. Not the crisis, not being useful. Him, his bad jokes. The way he read restaurant menus from the bottom because he wanted to see desserts first. The Sunday calls that lasted 6 minutes. The boy against the car window and the man who had sat beside my hospital bed. Loving him without rescuing him sounded clean when I said it aloud. Living it felt like keeping both hands at my sides while someone I loved reached for me. Susan called later. You saw Adam, she said. Claire? Adam, what did he say? That you drank his beer and interrogated him. He brought the beer. Did you interrogate him? Probably. I thought you'd stopped. I stopped fixing. Apparently I still ask questions. That part was never the problem. I asked whether he understood Rachel. That part might be. What am I supposed to do? Discuss baseball? Yes. I don't follow baseball. Learn. She was joking, but not entirely. Do you ever think we talk too much about what was wrong? I asked. In our marriage? Yes. No. I think we talked around it with impressive endurance. Could I have fixed it? You're still asking the wrong question. What's the right one? Could you have lived differently before I was done? I sat with that. Maybe, I said, maybe is honest. Not satisfying. Honesty rarely has good customer service. I smiled. When we hung up, I closed the bedroom window. It moved easily. Rachel's 6-month lease approached its end without ceremony. She renewed it month to month. Claire helped her move a bookcase from the house to the rental. Adam did not ask for the address again. That was progress, though he mentioned this progress often enough to make it feel supervised. The house became his alone. He stopped wearing office shirts except when required. He cooked frozen dinners. He hired someone to mow the lawn after letting it grow long enough for the neighbors to complain. He also stayed in counseling, apologized to Paige without asking her to reconsider, and stopped blaming me when he spoke to Claire. People are capable of improving and still arriving too late. Rachel asked me to meet at the bookstore cafe on a rainy afternoon. She looked tired but peaceful. Her hair was damp at the shoulders, and she wore the wedding ring on a chain around her neck. I tried not to look at it. I'm telling Adam tonight, she said. Telling him what? That I'm not coming back. The cafe noise seemed to drop away. Are you sure? Her expression stopped me. Sorry, I said. That wasn't my question to ask. I'm sure enough to make the decision. I nodded. He has changed, she said. Some, he has. I don't want his effort to become evidence that I owe him the result he wants. It doesn't. He'll say you influenced me. I know. You didn't. I know that too. She touched the ring through her sweater. I loved him when I left, she said. I love him now. I just don't want to spend the rest of my life checking whether the person beside me has quietly prepared another future. I looked down at the table. Will you be all right? I asked, eventually. Will he? She gave me a sad smile. That one is yours. No, I said. It's his. She nodded. That evening, I did not call Adam. I did not call Rachel. I made spaghetti, watched half a documentary about bridges, and went to bed before 10. At 11:30, someone knocked. Not the light, rapid knock Norman used. 3 hard strikes, a pause, then one more. I knew who it was before I opened the door. Adam stood in the hallway, soaked from the rain. His eyes were red, but he was not crying. In his hand was a small white envelope. The wedding ring made a faint circle beneath the paper. I opened the door wider. Adam didn't move. Are you going to stand in the hallway all night? I don't know. That seems uncomfortable. He looked down at the envelope as if he'd forgotten he was holding it. She told you, didn't she? Yes. When? This afternoon. You knew when I came over with the beer. No. But you knew she was thinking about it. I knew she hadn't decided. She had decided, not according to her. His clothes dripped onto the hallway carpet. Norman's door opened 2 inches across the hall. You all right? Norman called. We're fine, I said. That him? Yes. Norman's door closed. Adam stared at it. Does he have a glass against the wall? He doesn't need one. I stepped aside. Come in. He entered and stood on the mat while I found a towel. I handed it to him. I don't need that. You're dripping on the floor. He wiped his face, then his hair. The gesture made him look younger, not innocent. Youth and innocence are different things, though parents confuse them whenever it helps. He placed the envelope on the kitchen counter. She gave it back, he said. The ring? What else? I don't know what else is in the envelope. Nothing. He peeled off his wet jacket and hung it over the back of a chair. She wore it on a chain, I said. He looked at me sharply. Of course she did. She wasn't hiding it. No. She wanted you to see how much all of this hurt her. I saw because it was there. You saw because she arranged it. I let the accusation pass. Adam walked into the living room and sat on the couch. He looked around at the photographs on the wall, the curtains Susan had brought, the lamp Claire had helped me position after insisting the first corner was depressing. You made a life pretty fast, he said. It's been months. Same thing. I sat in the chair opposite him. What happened tonight? You know what happened. I know what Rachel planned to tell you. I don't know what happened. He bent forward and rubbed the towel over his hair again. She said she wants to end the marriage. What did you say? I told her she didn't. I waited. He gave a bitter laugh. That was a mistake. Probably. I said she was afraid. I said she was punishing me because she didn't know how to trust me yet. Did she agree? She asked why I was still explaining her decisions to her. That sounded like Rachel. She said counseling helped her understand that she doesn't need a courtroom case to leave. She doesn't have to prove I'll do it again. She doesn't even have to prove I'm a terrible husband. You weren't terrible all the time. That's supposed to help? No. He leaned back and stared at the ceiling. She said there were hundreds of good days. She said that's why it took so long to accept what I did. What did you do when she gave you the ring? I asked her to keep it. And? She said keeping it would turn the separation into another waiting room. He closed his eyes. I told her I'd wait anyway. What did she say? That was my choice, not hers. Rain tapped against the living room windows. The bedroom window Adam had freed gave a faint rattle in its frame. He opened his eyes and looked at the envelope on the counter. I don't want it. I can understand that. You take it. No. You started this with the ring. It isn't mine. You kept yours. Yes. Why do you get to keep a ring from a failed marriage, but I have to carry mine around like a body? You don't have to carry it. You just don't get to hand it to me and call that a solution. There's the plaque. There's the envelope. He stood and retrieved it. He held it out. Take it? No. Throw it away then? No. Why not? Because you want me to decide what it means. It means my marriage is over. It also means you were married. It means you took it off. It means Rachel wore it on a chain until she decided not to. Those meanings are yours. He dropped the envelope onto the coffee table. It skidded toward me and stopped beside a coaster. You've got an answer for everything, he said. I've got an answer for this. Fine. You want an apology? I didn't ask for one. You want me to admit you were right? No. What do you want? The question filled the room. For most of Adam's life, I had known the answer before he asked. I wanted him safe, successful, close, grateful, though I rarely admitted that part. I wanted his happiness to prove my choices had been good ones. Now, for the first time, wanting something for him felt like trespassing. I want you to stop asking me what I want your consequences to be, I said. That doesn't mean anything. It means Rachel left, Paige left. You didn't get the promotion. You're here because you want me to make one of those losses smaller. I came because you're my father. Those aren't different for you. His face changed. I continued before fear softened me. When you broke something, I replaced it. When you missed something, I explained it. When you spent rent money, I covered it and told your mother you were embarrassed enough. You learn that coming to me and being miserable was the same as taking responsibility. I was young, you were, then you weren't, and I kept doing it. So, this is your fault? No. The answer came clean. My part is mine, I said. Your choices are yours. He paced to the window. You think I don't know that? I think knowing it and living it are different. He turned. I went to counseling. I gave Rachel space. I apologized to Paige. I stopped calling Claire for information. I did everything everybody said. You're listing receipts. What does that mean? You think change is an invoice. Once you've paid enough, Rachel owes you the marriage. That isn't what I think. Then why are you angry she still gets to leave? Because I love her. I know. You keep saying that like love is irrelevant. It isn't irrelevant. It just isn't permission. He stared at me, breathing hard. I almost apologized for the sharpness of it. I didn't. After a while, he sat again. I wasn't going to tell her, he said. The room became very still. If Nashville had gone to Mark before you found the ring, he continued, I would have ended things with Paige and never told Rachel. I sat back. I would have convinced myself it was kinder, he said. Nothing physical happened. The job disappeared. Paige would have gone to Nashville. Rachel and I would have stayed here. Would you have been happy? I don't know. Would Rachel? She would have thought so. There it was. Not a defense this time. A confession. Adam looked at his hands. I liked that Paige didn't know me, he said. She knew the version who might move, the version who ate at new restaurants and didn't spend Sundays clearing boxes out of the dining room. She thought I was brave enough to start over. Were you? No. He laughed once and covered his mouth. I was waiting for the company to decide, waiting for Paige to decide how serious she was, waiting for Rachel to become unhappy enough that leaving would feel mutual. And me? He looked at me. What were you waiting for me to decide? Whether it counted. I felt that in my chest. If you told me it wasn't an affair, he said, then it wasn't. If you kept the ring quiet, I still had time. When the restaurant charge came up, I thought you'd cover it because you always covered things. I almost did. I know. How? You looked at me. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. For 1 second, I knew you were going to say yes. I knew exactly what your face looked like before you rescued me. He swallowed. I kept waiting for that face to come back. I looked toward the kitchen. The blue ceramic dish was out of sight in the bedroom, my old ring resting beneath coins from countries I had never visited. I'm sorry I taught you to expect it, I said. Adam's eyes filled. That doesn't help. I know. What does? I don't know. You're my father. Yes. You're supposed to know. No. I'm supposed to love you. He looked at the envelope. What if that isn't enough? It has to be. He wiped his face with the damp towel. Are you done with me? He asked. No. You act like you are. I'm done helping you lie. I'm done making consequences smaller so you'll keep coming back. I can love you without doing either. Sounds lonely. It is. He looked around the condo again. This time he seemed to see the room rather than judge it. Did you hate me when you moved in here? No. When the tile was wrong and you had no food? I was angry. That's not the same. No. Did you hate yourself? The question surprised me. Some, I said, for waiting, for being afraid, for enjoying how easy it was to feel needed in your house, for pretending all my help was generous when some of it was how I kept a place in everybody's life. He nodded slowly. Mom said something like that. When? In counseling. She came once. Susan went to your counseling? I asked her. What did she say? That you and I both confuse being necessary with being loved. That sounds like her. She also said you alphabetized the spices after she asked for a separation. I was organizing. She said you organized for 6 hours. It was a complicated cabinet. Adam smiled. The smile collapsed almost immediately, but it had existed. He picked up the envelope and tore it open. The ring slid into his palm. The gold had been cleaned. No blood remained near the edge. Rachel must have polished it before putting it on the chain, or perhaps afterward. Adam rolled it between his fingers. I don't know what to do with this, he said. You don't have to decide tonight. That sounds like waiting. Sometimes waiting is just waiting. It becomes a problem when someone else has to live inside it. He closed his hand around the ring. Can I stay here? For tonight? He nodded. The couch is free. You could say yes without qualifications. You could ask without making the question larger. He considered that. Can I sleep on your couch tonight because I don't want to go home to an empty house? Yes. I found him a dry t-shirt and sweatpants. He changed in the bathroom while I made toast and scrambled eggs. We ate at the counter after midnight. He did not ask me to call Rachel. He did not ask what she had told me in the bookstore cafe. He asked whether Norman had ever fixed the mailbox. No, I said. Mrs. Patel gets my electric bill now. Does she pay it? She returns it with notes about my usage. Useful. Apparently I leave too many lights on. You do. We argued about that for 5 minutes. In the morning, Adam folded the sheet and towel. Badly, but on purpose. He put the ring back into the torn envelope and tucked it into his jacket pocket. Breakfast Sunday? He asked at the door. What time? 10? Where? The place with the terrible coffee. Norman's? He smiled. The diner. Okay. He left. The marriage ended without a final explosion. Rachel found a permanent apartment closer to the clinic. Adam remained in the house until the rooms stopped looking like evidence and became simply rooms again. Rachel and I kept meeting for coffee, though less often as she built a life that did not include managing either Mercer man. She never called me Dad again. She did once ask me to help choose between 2 lamps. I told her to buy the one she liked and declined to inspect the wiring. Claire stopped assuming I was available and started inviting me anyway. Sometimes I said no. The first time, she sounded startled. The second time, she said, "Have fun," and meant it. Susan and I never reunited. We became better at being 2 people who had once known each other badly, and now knew each other with fewer demands. She occasionally joined Claire and me for dinner. She continued criticizing my paint choices. Adam came to Sunday breakfast most weeks. He didn't transform into a different man. He interrupted. He defended himself. He sometimes mentioned therapy as if expecting credit, then caught himself. He learned to sit through answers he disliked. One Sunday, he arrived late wearing no ring. The pale band on his finger had faded. We ordered coffee. He read the menu from the bottom, as always. "Chocolate pie," he said. "That seems aggressive before noon. You'll order it, probably." The waitress came. Adam chose eggs, toast, and the pie. After she walked away, he turned his coffee mug between both hands. "I dreamed about the laundry room," he said. "What happened? You found the ring, and I told you not to tell Rachel, and you handed it back." I waited. "That was it," he said. I looked at my son across the table. "Do you wish I had?" His eyes moved toward the window, then returned to me. Some days. It was not the answer of a changed man. It was the answer of an honest one. I nodded. The waitress brought the pie with 2 forks, though we had ordered only 1. Adam pushed the second fork toward me. This time, I let him share the cost.